in-game Esports South Asia Cup Dota 2 Championship. Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, $1,500 prize pool. Be crowned kings of South Asian Dota. Organized by In-Game Esports, powered by Intel.
Hello and welcome everyone to the In-Game Esports South Asia Cup Online, powered by Intel. I'm your caster Nightblade, and with me is Darkro.
Hi Abdul, so we're gearing up for one hell of a game. So it's going to be the lower bracket final between Portal Esports and Recreational Hazard. The last time these two giants kind of faced off against each other, Recreational Hazard actually managed to win the game using that very interesting let's track. I think you enjoyed that gameplay more than me. But anyway, they do manage to get game number one, and then unfortunately they had to actually give the walkover for the next few games. So we'll finally get to see which team is actually better in terms of head-to-head confrontations.
Yeah, I think this is going to prove who's actually the... We all thought that Portal Esports was much better than Recreational Hazard. They were favored, rather. And looking at that game, it looked really... It was really cool strat, and they had a really cool strategy around it, and I hope to see more of it from them.
Yeah, so right now you can see the playoffs bracket right now. So we're looking at the lower bracket finals between Portal Esports and Recreational Hazard, both teams from Pakistan. So both the teams actually do know each other quite well, and usually when it comes to teams like that, you have them studied, you know exactly what heroes they like to play, what kind of strats are strong for them, and but in the way that everything is right now, it'll be very interesting to see what both these teams actually try to pick up. We've seen Naga Siren being a very common pickup for both of these teams actually, but right now, so coming into the draft, we have Recreational Hazard actually picking up an Ogre as well as a Leshrak. While the Portal Esports they managed to get first pick, and they have picked up their Lich.
Yeah, so the Lich I think is something that they usually just like to pick up as their support. They've picked it before, I think, and it's not usually your meta pick as a support. Oh, and we see Meepo.
Oh, this is the first phase Meepo? Okay. But then there's so many. Okay, so Y1 is banned out, so it's the Shaker. But you still have a decent amount of ways to deal with the Meepo. I mean, it's so early.
I mean, Leshrak is not bad.
Yeah, Leshrak is still pretty good, and then maybe if you pick up like a Sven on top of it as well, and then it just ruins that Meepo's timing as well, because once you get that Echo Saber BKB with the Midas and Face Boots, I mean the Meepo just kind of has a very difficult time, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think the Lich pickup by them is also like to defend against the Meepo pick, but maybe this Meepo pick is like a bait, like it's gonna be a support Meepo in the end, and they'll try to draft to shut down Meepo, but then it's just not even the core. They make it a support pick, and that could happen. I've seen it happen once in a professional game, but it didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, I mean that's usually not what you want to do with the Meepo.
You don't want to support Meepo, but
no, you don't. I mean, because Meepo is a hero that dominates the game. The more levels he has, the more he can stay on the map, the more he can farm, pick up those items. So usually we see the E-Blade into either Silver Edge or a Skadi. Usually like E-Blade Skadi is like the basic, because Meepo is one of those heroes who loves that item. Because it always gets attributed, shared to the other Meepos, and once you get that, level, the third Meepo, where you get at level 11, it's like probably your best power spike. So it looks like we have Portal Esports with their Ogre and Leshrak, and Recreational Hazard with their Lich as well as the Meepo. So OD is another really good ban, and so is the Warlock. I think Warlock is a pretty crazy good hero against the Meepo just because of the Fatal Bonds. But Portal Esports can still pick up their Sand King if they want to. I mean, Sand King is also really, really good against the Meepo if you don't get netted initially, because the Burrow Strike and Epicenter does so much damage, and it's actually quite difficult to deal with in general for Meepo when you're playing a Sand King, because even if you try to poof, you can always just Burrow Strike and cancel that channeling, so you have a lot of options that you can actually do with that Sand King.
But right now this Meepo pick is really like out of the blue. You can't really predict what they're gonna pick. I think they've banned it before against Recreational Hazard.
Yeah, they've always banned it against Recreational Hazard.
Yeah, so then maybe this is a very comfortable pick that they have, or a certain strat that they're used to running. Portal Esports immediately picks up a Sven, which is obviously decent against Meepo after he gets BKB and his items and whatnot. But I think it's just gonna be Meepo's game. If Meepo hits a timing, then Sven won't be able to do much.
I mean, it'll come down. If the change in Meepo's tempo actually comes from whether he actually gets a kill in lane or not. So those days you should actually be able to get a quick kill. Once you hit level 3, you have that one level in net, one level in poof, and then try to in the meantime try to get a few harass offs. Usually you have the double net, double poof. You can actually bring someone down. But it'll come down to who he's facing. If he's facing the Leshrak, the double poof might be a little bit of a pipe dream, just because of the fact that you always have that split earth, and it's not easy. If one Meepo can't can't get the poof off, then that's a lot of damage lost.
Yeah.
Because you have damage for when you poof from one meepo to the other and while you're doing the poof as well. So it actually has 2 instances of damage where it does. So even though it says 80 damage, it actually does about 160, and obviously that is without the magic damage reduction that most heroes already have. But either way, losing out on the damage, especially at that stage of the game, is actually quite huge. Because once the Leshrac hits level 6, it's actually quite difficult for the meepo to kind of deal with him. Unless he does have a decent farming lane and, there's no rotations. But then either way, it'll be very interesting. I think that it'll come down to how well the Leshrac plays and how well the Sven can wait without getting picked off before he gets those core items, because once he gets BKB, Echo Saber, the meepo is just free kill every time.
But we do see a Bristleback in his lane, so that's already going to be hard for him, especially if they paired up with a Lich. It's always really strong lane. So Bristleback can be a little bit of a problem, might shut down the Sven's farm. It won't be too much of an issue, and we see Jakiro being picked up. Very good hero to harass the Bristleback out of the lane. Lots of magic damage, dot damage, so...
And also great control against the meepo.
Yeah, it's okay against the meepo, but meepo... It's like these heroes don't really do much if the meepo gets a game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so then that's the problem right now. They have to be able to shut him down in the lane, or maybe when he's rotating on maybe the Sven or the off lane or whichever lane he wants to go on, they have to counter initiate and kill him like at least twice in the mid game, and then he's useless. Not useless, but then it gives the chance for Portal Esports to come back if he doesn't get those those ganks off, or even if they do get return kills on the meepo, Portal Esports still have a chance. But if they don't, it looks hard because Jakiro without farm is pretty useless.
Yeah, that's true. But then that level of lockdown is always good because you can always get the ice path into follow-up split earth into maybe an ogre stun, and then you have the Sven stun, which is also it's good against the meepo because it's AoE for a certain reason, and then it actually hits multiple of those meepos, keeps them under control. It makes it much more difficult for the meepo to actually get on top of the Sven and actually try to kill him.
I think it's just the fact that Bristleback is going to run in and tank so many spells. So after that meepo will just go in after the spells are used on the Bristleback. So that's why I think meepo's going to have a decent time if he has a good game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be very interesting to see. But we saw Liquid also picking up that meepo but they picked it in the last pick for Viha, and they actually managed to win that game. So I'm wondering whether it's going to be one of those games where Recreational Hazard actually runs away with game number 1, and then very next game we'll see a meepo in the first phase ban.
Yeah, they've done it for so long, and now suddenly they're like, let's not ban it this time. Maybe they wanted to pick up the meepo since they banned the Wyvern out or something, but usually if you always ban a meepo, you don't usually want to ban the Wyvern in the first phase. You want to pick him up later, but maybe they have a strategy. Maybe they wanted them to pick the meepo because they have a strat against the specific lineup. And we see Spirit Breaker being picked up, so that's going to be pretty decent. A lot of lockdown. It's not easy to pick off anyone other than the Leshrac, maybe the Jakiro, but if you just charge it on mid lane and get a kill on meepo, it's really good for him. So the Spirit Breaker might be really useful to making meepo's game better.
Yeah, definitely. I think that usually how you can tell whether the Spirit Breaker player is good or not is depending on how he uses the charge. So most of the time you actually see them smoke and then try to hide behind there. If in the case of the Leshrac, he'll be on the Radiant side, so he'll probably smoke and try to get behind the Leshrac and come through the trees where he doesn't have time to react. Because if you come through the most obvious points, if the Leshrac knows how well to time his Earth Splitter, he can always just stop the Spirit Breaker before he even completes the charge.
Or he can just walk into tower and then they won't be able to get him. And we see Tinker being banned out, so they assume this Leshrac is going to be a support, and I think it's Ogre offlane, like they've run that once before, but I'm not too sure how they want to do it against a meepo, because Leshrac...
I feel like I'm getting hints that this meepo is actually a safe lane meepo and not a mid meepo.
Yeah, I think so, right? I think right now, if you pick it second, you always probably want to pick it for safe lane, just because you don't want him to get a bad matchup. Most of the time, like, they're going to put him in whichever lane that's better for him. No matter which lane it is.
So it'll come down to who these two heroes, the two teams actually pick up. So I think both of them are just waiting up to pick up their mid hero.
We have only 5 seconds left on Recreational Hazard.
So it looks like it's going to be the Wraith King being picked up on Recreational Hazard. So it's going to be a mid meepo. So we're going to have the safe lane on the Wraith King on the safe lane, which is very interesting actually, just having those two. That's rough.
That's rough.
That hero is actually so good against all their heroes. The Wraith King, the Bristleback, the meepo. I think that was just like one of probably the best last picks you could actually get. It's like almost the perfect Timbersaw game.
But there is Spirit Vessel that is always going to be picked up by Spirit Breaker. That's really good against Timbersaw.
Yeah, but then given on how he's going to snowball on the lanes, I don't think it'll be a while until the Spirit Breaker actually gets that Spirit Vessel. Depends on how well he can get those pick-offs. And even then it'll take at least 13 to 14 minutes for actually, maybe like 13 and 14 minutes is actually early also for that Spirit Vessel on the Spirit Breaker, because he's not one of those heroes who farms really well. It's about just getting on the map, putting pressure, trying to get those kills onto your core. But you know, like previously if it was Lashrak, yeah, sure, you charge into him and then you try to get the kill. But anyway, before we get into that, Tournament MVP award by Intel, it's going to be the Intel Nuck, also known as the Hades Canyon. So the MVP award winner is actually going to be super lucky, because this does have an Intel Core i7, Radeon RX graphic cards alongside the Intel Core i7 8th-gen processor chip. And then as you can see, it has the Thunderbolt ports, the HDMI ports, everything that a gamer would need, all basically built into this small form factor PC that is super convenient.
Yeah, it's just something that if you really want to take your work with you, or you want to take your gaming with you, if you want to go, this is like the perfect thing to get. And personally, I really like this. I think it's a very efficient, sort of powerful thing that you can always use whenever you want. Like, usually sometimes even laptops are like, you don't really want to take laptops wherever you go, but this is something small and compact that you can even just put in your small backpack and just take wherever you want to go. Like, if you like, I think Sashika said before about taking it to university and plugging it into one of the computers and, you know, just using it.
So along with that, we actually have the HyperX Cloud 2 giveaway. I think all of you right now are currently fighting for your favorite winner for the Gamer's Choice Award. And you know, that is going on, and there's actually so many votes coming in for most of these players, so it's going to be interesting to see who actually wins in the end for the Gamer's Choice Award. And then we have the awards for Best Support Player, Best Carry Player. The Unkillable Award is going to be one of those most interesting ones, and obviously in the end the MVP is going to be getting a HyperX Cloud 2 headset as well. So everything to gain for all these players, you know, if they can make it for sure. And right now we're just getting into the game. So right now we can see most of them are just positioning to the top lane right now. We actually have 4 heroes there. So Meepo can always rotate there if he wants to. The Red King is there along with the Spirit Breaker as well as the Lich. So they seem like this. They seem to know. I think they're just trying to get that ideal laning right now for most of this thing. So they're expecting the Meepo to maybe try and dodge the Timbersaw lane and put someone else there. But I think if the Timbersaw gets the matchup against the Meepo is going to have a very
might be in a bit of trouble here.
Oh, is he going to be? Yes, he actually gets slow off with that Frost Nova. The Red Blast actually comes in. They have the right clicks coming in from the Barra, but the Jakiro just running in, and now the Ogre actually running around. Nice splitter on the 2 there, and the Lich falling in low, pops at 25, getting really low. One more last hit, there comes the Fire Blast, and the first blood actually going to Jakiro. Jakiro getting bashed up by that Spirit Breaker. One more Red Fire Blast, another bash, and looks like Spirit Breaker should be able to get that kill. They actually get the bounty on the Leshrac there, and looks like they might actually be able to get that one, and they're actually turning. They're trying to go on to the Spirit Breaker. The stun as well as the splitter actually connecting, and the Spirit Breaker falling so low. The Sven running in, does he have the... Oh, the bolt comes in, but it's just a little bit too far. Spirit Breaker using the salve, meanwhile hiding in the trees, and the Red King might be in a little bit of trouble. They have another splitter. He actually goes down on the Red King, 159 gold, going the way of the Ogre, and this battle is not even done. Even the Ogre actually is running back into the fight, and now Jakiro coming in, another dual breath. The Lich is trying his best, is right clicking, another Mango being popped, he has another Fire Blast, but he gets bashed up by the Spirit Breaker. The stun actually comes out, should be having another dual breath very soon. Oh, Spirit actually does not connect. The dual breath is there once again, and the Spirit Breaker might actually go down. He actually does. He goes down to the left track this time, and they're actually trying to focus and bring down the Jakiro, but looks like they are going to reset and just go back for that farm in the top lane.
Let's just barely dodge the Spirit, and a lot of fighting going on. Doesn't really favor both teams too much. Like, it obviously gives a few kills on the side of the Radiant. It gives them a decent advantage, but these early kills don't mean too much most of the time.
So once again, looks like they might try to make a go onto the Ogre. Ogre actually falling very low. The Red Fire Blast is there as well. One more right click should be enough. They try to use the salve as well, but he actually gets taken down. So really good heads up play coming out from Recreational Hazard there to actually get the pick off onto that Ogre.
Yeah, what's more important in this lane right now, after all this fighting, is the amount of regen they have on each of the players. If they don't have the regen to sustain...
Oh, he has a dual breath. They're actually trading quite well. And this Jakiro might actually go down. One more right click should be enough. The dual breath ticks actually going down. He gets a bash on the Spirit Breaker. And actually here comes the Ogre, just going to start punching up on the Spirit Breaker right now. Just trying to run right now on the Jakiro, and looks like he'll be able to make it. And they're zoning these supports quite hard, but he does have a salve on the Lich, and very calculated play coming out from him. And it's the Sven taking on the Meepo.
Yeah, I think it's fine, because the Bristleback is pretty good against the Sven as well, so Timbersaw is fine against things.
So meanwhile, once again, Split Earth as well as the stun from that Ogre just setting things up. And once again, the Red King actually going down. There's so many stuns on the side of Portal Esports there. Now they're trying to chase down the Spirit Breaker, still over one. And once again, the stun comes out. The Split Earth as well perfectly lands onto the Spirit Breaker. And this top lane is just becoming a disaster. That's 5 kills on the top lane already for Portal Esports and 2 kills for the side of Recreational Hazard.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I feel like this Lich in the lane, he lost so much support, regen and whatnot that he couldn't stay in the lane. So it was more like a 3v2.
Oh, Red Fire Blast onto the Jakiro here, just trying to stop the pool for the moment. And looks like they might not be able to. Now once again, now we see the Ogre just fighting up. They're level 2 already on the supports. Once again, here comes the stun onto the Spirit Breaker with that Split Earth as well. Dual Breath comes up, but I don't think they're getting the Jakiro. They might actually be able to bring down this the Spirit Breaker, and Spirit Breaker actually goes down. Once again, Jakiro comes in, has the Fairy Fire, uses Split Earth is there. This Red Fire Blast should be enough to bring down this Jakiro, but so far, a killing spree onto the left side. The body blocks onto the Red King. He actually can't get it out. He has 5 more seconds to Split Earth. He connects, and the Red King is actually going to get taken down, and that's a double kill going the way of the Leshrac, and that's 8 kills in the top lane, and they still have almost have lane control.
Oh yeah, and I think that was all just regarding. So what happened in that lane was they traded really well, and the Lich got really low once with the Jakiro. And when Lich had like 0 HP and 0 mana, he couldn't come and contest with the Wraith King and the Spirit Breaker. So Portal Esports took advantage of that and got a kill onto the Wraith King and the Ogre, and they got level 2 off of that. So then after that, when Lich, Wraith King and Spirit Breaker tried to contest them, they couldn't because they're under level just because of the region, how they, prioritize region in that lane. So I think that Portal Esports really played that lane really well, and you can see how quickly tri-lanes can go out of control in that way, that you can easily lose the tri-lane if you
rotation coming in from the Jakiro here. There is a Liquid Fire as well as the Dual Breath. The Bristle Breaker is turning around. The charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker, who has picked up level 2. But here comes the Ogre. They're just trying to pressure the Spirit Breaker the Bristleback right now. But the Quills are enough. They actually managed to get the kill onto the Jakiro there. But the Bristleback can go down here. It's actually really good. And the Bristleback actually gets taken down by this Ogre. And this Ogre is actually getting so much farm. He has enough gold for his boots right now. Just getting a few vision down as well. But the most important thing is just trying his best to just, deny all that EXP that the Bristleback will get, because the
might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, here comes the net as well. The Sven might be in a little bit of trouble, but here comes the charge from the Spirit Breaker. Right click coming in from the Meepo here. One more hit should be enough, and he actually gets taken down on the Sven. The Meepo gets that kill, and he might be able to actually get out with his Meepo. The Frost Shield is also there from the Lich, but the TP in from the Timbersaw, who is already level 6, and they actually get the kill onto the Meepo as well. This game is a bloodbath right now, and really heads up rotation coming in from the Timbersaw. Meanwhile, the top lane actually manages to juke his way through the Split Earth there. Now Spirit Breaker charging onto the top lane, getting a few items. The skeletons are out. The Jakiro and the Leshrac right now trying to chase down this Wraith King, who is still only level 4. Red Fire Blast comes out onto the Leshrac, just trying to right click, but that Liquid Fire is just slowing things down. Dual Breath as well. Here comes the charge in from the Spirit Breaker. There is no TP for that Timbersaw because he TP to the mid lane. Now he's just running away, trying to get himself into safety, and the Bloodlust for extra movement speed. Actually getting the stun out onto the Spirit Breaker as well. Spirit Breaker just getting kited out right now. He has another Split Earth if he wants to use it. He needs to be so careful. He can actually turn around and charge the Leshrac if he wants to. Meanwhile, the Wraith King actually beating down onto the Jakiro. The charge comes in. He actually connects onto the Ogre, and right now it's a 2-on-1, but here comes the Leshrac once again. He does have a Split Earth. He actually connects onto the Spirit Breaker. Few more right clicks should be enough, but the stun comes out onto the Leshrac from that Wraith King here. Just trying to make it out. The crit coming in from that Wraith King. Double kill, much needed for him, and he gets a level 5. Now he's trying to run away. He does not have any more mana. Can they chase him down is the question. They need someone. Bloodlust coming out onto the Jakiro. The stun comes out from the Wraith King, and he should be able to walk off away into the safety of his own side of the jungle.
Yeah, this is a lot of kills going back and forth here in this game. But as you can see, since it was all in this before like pre-5-minute mark, the gold advantage is not that big. Like, there's only like less than a 1k lead, and that's for the side of Recreational Hazard, who has less kills. So this means that in other lanes, the heroes are farming pretty well. Like the Bristleback has been...
once again we see this charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker onto the Jakiro. They're trying to make a go onto the Lich. Are they going to go to the high ground? Red Fire Blast comes in from the Wraith King. One more right click should be enough. They can get the crit, but nice salve up coming out from that Jakiro. And actually now the Ogre in a lot of trouble. They do have the stun on the Sven. Does not look like a nice dual breath onto 4 targets. Actually the God String being used. And now the Wraith King needs to be so careful. He does not have that level 6. We should have a stun very, very soon if we can actually reach it. He does not able to. And now fighting up against the Meepo is the Sven. The Spirit Breaker is also there. Does have a stun. Nice Red King stun coming in just to help him out, and he does have another stun. He's not going to use it. He's actually getting controlled by the Meepo here, and the Sven might actually get taken down. The charge is there. He actually takes the kill. 234 gold going the way of the Spirit Breaker. 234 goals from the kill of the Sven.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an overextension by the Sven. He knows he can get super kited in the early stages of this game, especially without BKB, without Blink, without a lot of items. He obviously gets kited. They have to, fight with the Timbersaw or the Leshrac rather than the Sven, and the Sven has to just focus on farming. Because if you give this Meepo like a decent start, like give him the kills on the Sven, or just give him a decent start, like get his items online, it might be a little bit hard going to this mid game, and the Bristleback might be in a little bit of trouble here. The Ogre might be going on him soon.
The charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker as well, so looks like he might actually need some assistance. The Spirit Breaker is almost there. The stuns are coming out from the Sven, but here comes a double stun there from the Spirit Breaker, but immediately Splitter to finish off the Bristleback, and now he needs to be super careful on the side of that Spirit Breaker. He might get caught out here. He's trying to run away. He does have another charge very momentarily. I don't know if he has the mana for it right now. Getting chased by the Sven, looking for those bashes right now. Does have another stun if he wants to use it. Bloodlust up on both them. There comes the stun. There comes the Fire Blast, and looks like that'll be a nice pickup for the Sven. 182 gold.
And in the Radiant jungle, Timbersaw.
Yeah, looks like they actually ran into the Lich there and picking him off. And once you run into that Timbersaw, there's no way you usually get out once he has such a good start in this game actually.
Yeah. So right now, what they've done with this kill lead that Portal Esports have got is that they've got a lot of map control. They've gone the top tower, they've gone the mid tower, and now they're easily able to rotate into the
meanwhile in the bot lane, looks like the Sven might be in trouble here. Actually gets the Warcry off, but the burst damage coming in from that Meepo and the charge coming out from that Spirit Breaker, and he's actually going to get taken down once again. 229 gold going the way of the Meepo. And meanwhile, the Bristleback actually just fighting up against most of these heroes. The Timbersaw is there, nice splitter there. Oh, and he just gets melted after his attributes actually get taken away from that whirling death. That's so much damage right now.
Yeah, I don't think they can really deal with this Timbersaw right now, because
they might actually go on the Meepo as well, and the Timbersaw just jumping in. He does have a few stacks. He actually has one. Nice net coming in from the Meepo. He's actually taking a decent amount of damage from the tower. Only has 6 stacks right now, 7. Going to try and stop him from poofing to the other Meepo, but it's not going to be able to.
Leshrac is going to be in trouble.
And Leshrac now in a little bit of trouble. The charge comes in from the Spirit Breaker, immediately going to disconnect. Sorry, not disconnect, disengage using his bulldoze.
Yeah.
But just trying to get back into safety because they did manage to save that Meepo.
Yeah. I mean, Wraith King has a little bit of space off of this, but Bristleback is dying quite a few times now. He's not going to be very useful coming to this mid game, and this Timbersaw looks to be like a real threat if they just stick S5 and start pushing. And you can see they're just conquering this dire jungle here on the Radiant side.
So once again, we might see the Timbersaw actually running into the Bristleback here, and a charge actually coming out from the Spirit Breaker. It might not actually be a very good choice here, and the Lich actually immediately gets bursted down with that multicast, and now TP coming in from the Spirit Breaker, knowing that he can't take the fight, and the Bristleback actually in the very thick of things and actually manages to dodge that. Oh, the damage!
Yeah.
Oh my lord, pure damage is a thing.
Yeah, it's really good against Bristleback, and you can't really do much against it. And I think that was just a bad call coming from Recreational to take that fight.
Once again, we actually see the charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker onto the Jakiro this time, but there is so many stacks on the side of the Timbersaw. They don't have the burst damage for it, and the Ice Path immediately catching out the Spirit Breaker. He might be in a little bit of trouble, but Timberchain actually going to miss. Uses the Whirling Blade to take away a few of those attributes, but he's not going to be able to get the bash. He wants that CS, but I think he has just accidentally kind of placed it in the wrong position, and now he just has to make a run for it. So right now, Leshrac just in the bot lane, trying to slow down the push if it's possible right now. Level 6 or level 8 on the Wraith King right now. He's almost done with his minus, needs about another 500 gold, and then he should be able to purchase it. And the Meepo is actually farming up quite well, 75 last hits to 10 denies. But it's still, I don't think he can fight until he gets a few items because the Timbersaw can just burst him.
Yeah, the other heroes are just a bit too far ahead right now. They just lost way too many
once again,
fights.
here comes the Red Fire Blast onto the Leshrac, and they do manage to get that tower at least.
That's
a lot of gold actually coming.
Really good Red Fire Blast to secure the kill secure the tower kill because his skeletons were hitting the tower and he didn't want them to die. That was a good Red Fire Blast.
Yeah, definitely. So the scan was being used this time, and looks like Wraith King knows that he's kind of safe to farm in that area. The Meepo actually has been farming up like crazy. 4 Wraith Bands, and looks like he is going for that Ethereal Blade into a Blink Dagger. So he wants to get that item and just start fighting immediately because that's the timing he wants to abuse right now.
They just want to burst this Timbersaw down, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think even then, I think it will be quite difficult actually because they don't really have the magic damage to burst down.
I mean, with the Ethereal Blade, they will, I think. Especially with the charge and the Lich Out, they'll for sure have enough damage.
And yeah, especially if they pick up the Spirit Vessel as well. So right now, they might actually, they smoked and they actually ran into the Lich there, but looks like they'll be walking away. As you can see, just small items being picked up on everyone right now. The Sven also not close to that Midas. Wraith King just very close. He was about to get a goal, and right now, I think the Jakiro actually in quite a little bit of trouble, and we do see a pause coming out from the Sven, and a Sid is called, and we're just waiting on, but basically, so far I think this should be a very dead Jakiro. I think it'll be very rare if he actually gets away, because Spiritbreaker is still holding on to his ult. Preferably, he probably doesn't want to use it right now, but he might have to, because the Lich and the Bristleback really can't, kind of get into range to try and assist and help them get the kill.
Yeah, and I just don't think that this is enough right now. I think they need to stop, running into these fights and start getting the Spirit Vessel first on the Spirit Breaker. Just give him a lane or something to farm in, or just, somehow get him some farm.
So here we see the replay once again in the bot lane, just cleaning out that kill, and Sven getting caught out to the Meepo. You can see the poof damage, even with that Warcry. I mean, it does only mitigate physical damage, but the right clicks are enough. And the Hawkeye actually managed to get that kill, and then once again, in the simultaneously we had a fight in the mid lane, so it looks like he does burn the ulti, and Bristleback should be getting the kill, and now stun coming out onto the Spirit Breaker, the Timbersaw, everyone is actually right there. Stormbolt comes in from that Sven, they're going to clean out that kill right now, and they know they can't take the fight, so immediately looks like Recreational Hazard Portal Esports just want to push down this mid lane, they need to be very careful, and right now just running into the Bristleback, the left track, just trying to see whether they can converge onto anyone. Timbersaw is also on the way, just trying to bait out and see whether anyone is actually going to go and try and kill this left track for playing so confidently right now, but they might be able to get this T2 in the top lane. They know they really can't do anything, and the Meepo's timing should be coming up very soon. It's only 20 minutes in the game, but the Timbersaw, just being a Timbersaw, is just putting so much pressure onto the map, and the Meepo is super close to that Eagle Sound, so he should be able to pick it up. He does, which means he's only very few, little more gold away from that Ethereal Blade.
I think this Jakiro might die unless they have TPs here.
Oh, the Ice Path actually cancels out too here, but we do see the rest of the heroes from the side of Portal Esports actually just kind of converging, and the Jakiro actually getting stuck in the creeps as well, throwing out a few stuns here and there, but now the Wraith King actually stuck in the middle of everything. The Pulse Nova is on, here comes the Disco Pony, gets that Earth Splitter as well, and this Bristleback is just a creep at this point with that Timbersaw around. I mean, look at all the damage coming out from the Whirling Deaths as well as the Chakram. I mean, it's nothing to laugh at, being the front liner for your team.
Yeah, he just has way too good of a start, and he's just really good against strength heroes, especially Bristleback, just because of the pure damage against him. So I don't think there's too much they can do right now.
So it looks like they might actually try to go on the Timbersaw. He does not have too many this armor right now, and he actually might get taken down. He gets immediately taken down by that Meepo there. So it's a huge kill, 434 gold. Even the Chain Frost being used, a nice splitter onto 3 of those Meepos. I mean, 2 of the Meepos as well as the Spirit Breaker. But once again, a double kill going the way of the Meepo, and suddenly Meepo turning the game around, getting that kill onto the Timbersaw. Just not. It's kind of underestimating how much damage he could take when he didn't have stacks on him.
Even if he had stacks, it's just the magic damage that he can't really deal with, because it's burst, and like stacks is like it takes some time and you don't right click him.
So it looks like Spirit Breaker is going to start bashing up onto this Sven right now. Does he have any sort of assistance? He's just right. His tree keeps bashing him. The Meepo actually joins in, and now he has another stun. The God Strength is used. The Macapar is there. Does he have a stun? Yes, he does have a stun on the Sven. Can they save him? The Timbersaw is here. The burst damage coming out from the Timbersaw, immediately bringing down this Meepo, dead for 45 seconds. The reincarnation is out. Here comes the Bloodlust as well. Can the Wraith King actually get out? No, he actually gets control. The Fire Blast into the Ice Path, and now the Spirit Breaker coming and trying to assist him here. But they leave the Wraith King. They're going for the Spirit Breaker instead of the Wraith King. What is happening? And the Wraith King is actually so close to getting out. The Ice Path is there, but he's going to be able to joke. He's going to be able to make it out. What was?
That was unfortunate. They thought the Jakiro could finish him off. Unfortunately, not able to. And the Timbersaw still chasing the Wraith King, but he won't be able to connect there.
Oh, that was so unfortunate.
It was bad. It was just not. They should have secured the kill for sure. They just thought, they assumed that the Jakiro had spells, but he didn't, and he went down. And as I was saying before, this Timbersaw is not that strong if they have all the burst magic deal damage. Especially if they have the Meepo Puffs and the Chain Frost, it always kills the Timbersaw. So
they actually get the bounties, and now the Spirit Breaker might be in a little bit of trouble.
It's gonna be fine.
Looks like he'll be able to make it out. So I think it was a 3-4. Yeah, so it was a 3-4-1. Portal Esports getting 3 bounty runes to Recreational Hazards too.
Yeah.
1, I mean, for 1.
Yeah, and it looks like this Meepo, he just got his E-Blade, so they're gonna look to try and kill the Timbersaw now, if they really want to. But if they're grouped, Ogre might be in a little bit of trouble here.
The Ogre actually gets charged up and the Red King is there as well. Here comes the Red Fire Blast. Meanwhile, simultaneously we have a jump on the Meepo onto the Jakiro, so should be a guaranteed kill as well. So Recreational has suddenly getting onto the map, getting 2 kills. That is going to help them just buy some time, and the Meepo actually hitting his timing quite well, managing to pick up the Jakiro, just pushing that mid lane alone actually, and just getting caught out to the Meepo and just accelerating his farm even more. And he's just about 1,200 gold away from his Blink Dagger as well, so he's hitting his timing quite well, and the Sven doesn't have the items that he needs. He almost has that Echo Saber done. He does have the Midas, but he needs the Echo Saber BKB right now, otherwise it's going to be very difficult, but it still can bring down this Meepo with the Timbersaw, but it's going to be difficult.
No, I think if Timbersaw, what they're going to do on Recreational Hazard is they're going to just aim Timbersaw and kill him, because other than the Timbersaw right now, the Leshrac doesn't output enough damage to kill off the Meepo, I feel like. Especially if they kill off the Timbersaw before he gets anything off. Like if he doesn't get Whirling Death and his ult Chakram off for a little while on the Meepo. If he's full HP when the Timbersaw dies, they just lost the fight, because they have not enough damage to take down this Meepo. And Meepo, I think right now, he's just going to look for his Blink. He's still not going to just look for fights. He's going to get his Blink and then start initiate on the Timbersaw with the Chain Frost. And Lich should be a little bit careful in this mid lane though. They might just dive in, but it should be fine.
So now Timbersaw getting a few stacks here. Looks like the charge is coming through, but looks like immediately going to get cancelled out. And the Timbersaw wants to keep the pressure. He wants to keep applying it. He does not want the side of Recreational Hazard to kind of settle in and try to get that the lanes pushed out, try to get as much farm as possible. They want to push the issue. So we actually have boots of travel done on the Leshrac as well. So that's quite insane in terms of how much pressure they can actually put on the map. But the Timbersaw once again actually taking a decent amount of damage, but they do manage to get that T2 tower, and immediately you can see the pings coming to go into Roshan. And the Sven is actually in the top lane. They see the Meepo as well. Meanwhile, the Red King actually pushing out the bottom lane, and Sven is going to go there.
Sven might be dead here.
So he needs to be very careful here. Looks like they're actually pinging to try and go onto the Red King here, but immediate cancel there.
They actually might kill the Timbersaw here if they do manage to get some vision on him. Yeah, they may be more heroes here, so maybe not.
Oh, he has a use, he has a use. So we actually see the use both them just using it on each other. Wait, what?
No,
oh, Leshrac has a use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Leshrac has the use.
He used himself.
He used himself.
It's okay, it happens. But we might see a kill on top lane. Blink picked up on the Meepo.
Yeah, I think this is a very dead Jakiro. There's no way he's getting out. Ah, he bled.
It's fine.
But he should be still dead. He's trying to give the kill to Bissellback as well.
No, I don't think so. I just think he messed up.
I mean, cool guys don't look at explosions, but that time, he was like, why did he do it?
Yeah, but now we can see the Spirit Vessel on Spirit Breaker almost picked up. I think he's only like 400 gold away. So, even though it seems like the Meepo needs to apply pressure on the map all the time and whatnot, right now if they just wait and get their items, I think he just needs 300 gold now. And if he gets the Spirit Vessel, then this Timbersaw is going to be caught off guard. Like, he does have a use to purge off the what do you call it? The Spirit Vessel, but if he dies before that, I mean, they can always add another. Oh, Meepo might go on the Sven here.
Oh, looks like they actually managed to catch the Ogre, but stun comes out from the Sven there. They managed to bring down the Ogre right there, but can they get anything else? And just look at the damage the Timbersaw actually just took from 2 bounces from the Chain Frost.
Yeah.
And now Bristleback not afraid, just trying to frontline right now, an immediate Timber Chain all the way back onto their side. But they do manage to only lose the Ogre at least, but it's still a 2k gold lead on the side of Recreational Hazard, and this use actually coming out onto the Bristleback here. Here comes the Ice Path as well. Immediately cancel the Spirit Breaker with that Bulldoze, should be fine. Here comes the Chakram as well as the Whirling Death. He's losing so much HP on this Bristleback. There's no way he's going to get out, and I think trade Ogre for a Bristleback trade, you'll take it any day.
Yeah, I think Bristleback just stayed a little bit too longer. He should have, he knows
that might be actually going for more here. Is there anyone else he can actually try to catch? The Lich as well as the Spirit Breaker is there. He might actually run into him. The Bulldoze is there. He actually uses the chain he uses the Cunning Blade there. He does manage to catch that Spirit Breaker, but he should be able to charge out. But the slow is there, and that is going to be the Spirit Breaker getting picked off as well. So they actually trying to go high ground, and they actually managed to pick off this Lich as well, but on the side of the Leshrac, and they lose towers really fast.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that was just one by one. Everybody just.
I think this is Rax.
Yeah.
At least the melee Rax right now, and there is no the Meepo is trying his best to cut this creep wave, but there is nothing to take care of these creeps. They didn't fortify, so then they didn't get the split shot even.
Yeah, but they can still, maybe they can just start fighting now. I think Wraith King is just gonna go in right now.
Yeah, they need to do something right now.
They're going to get the racks though.
Yeah, they're going to get the racks for sure. They managed to take it, but can they punish it is the question. I think they might sacrifice the ogre.
Meepo's coming from behind. They might be able to do something.
He's actually playing it quite safe. The charge comes in all the way. Nice use coming out onto the Spirit Breaker here. Another Red Fire Blast landing onto the Sven here. Sven actually has a lot of stacks on him right now. 3 stacks on him. He's actually going to get 4 now, and he's actually very slow, and he's going to get controlled up by the Meepo as well. This should be a very dead Sven. The crit coming in from that Wraith King as well. They actually managed to use up the Meepo as well. The Jakiro is trying his best to run, but once again getting netted up, and this should be another kill. So looks like they're going to lose 3. They're going to lose the Ogre, they're going to lose the Jakiro.
It's going to be a Roshan.
They need to go into Roshan right now, but they want to take down this T1 tower. Just try to get a little bit of map control. And
if this Meepo gets Roshan, it's going to be a really big deal for Recreational Hazard right now. And I think he should be thinking about Roshan immediately. Yeah,
they should be going into Roshan, and immediately they do so. They do have that blink, they have that E-Blade, so he almost has that Skadi done as well. So you can see the net worth just dipping in favor of Recreational Hazard a little bit, but they did manage to bring it back on the side of Portal Esports, and it's actually a 2k goal lead right now, so it can change in one fight. And it comes down to, the Timbersaw actually runs in, and it might actually get taken down here. Once again, the Use Scepter is there. Meepo getting controlled up, charge onto the Ogre. Ogre actually gets taken down. Timbersaw, Timber changing all the way up to the high ground there, and actually gets ulted by the Spirit Breaker. He should be able to make it out. Spirit Vessel is there. TP coming in from there. He actually makes it out before the Red Fire Blast connects. Use Scepter comes out once again onto the Bristleback here. He needs to be careful. They're actually trying to fight him here, but looks like they managed to turn around, and the Sven just wants to run right down. They managed to get the edges. They only lost the Ogre. They're happy with that right now.
But the Timbersaw might be dead here in the top lane. Oh, he does get a return kill onto the Spirit Breaker after the charge. Just the Meepo did.
Why is Leshak walking to the high ground? He immediately gets bursted down, and that's 492 gold going the way of the Meepo there. Just a little bit of mistake knowing that the entire team was there.
He came to help the Timbersaw that was dying to the Spirit Breaker. That's why she was out of position.
No, but they saved the Timbersaw already. Yeah. I think just
he just didn't know who was
there.
Yeah,
maybe probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe in the heat of the moment you want guys go next, we can kill more, and you just want to keep running in, and then you run into a Meepo and a Wraith King and just nope, run guys, run!
So this Meepo, he just lost his Aegis, so then that advantage is already gone. But it's still, he still has high net worth, he's still very strong. They can still kill the Timbersaw now. I'm not too sure how many charges the Spirit Breaker has right now, but that's really important. And if he doesn't have any charges, it's very hard to take a fight. So if he does, I think they just go on the Timbersaw. And we see a charge on the bot lane onto the Jakiro, but I don't think he knows that there are more people there. We see travels in by the Leshak as well. They might
actually. The Bristleback just trying to front line, does get a double into multicast, and there's a split earth as well. But looks like they don't want to really take this fight without that Timbersaw. He's still on the way. He does not have any charges. He might actually be able to catch this Bristleback. This should be a very, very dead Bristleback. I feel so bad for this guy. I think what is it? This is like his 8th death right now in this game, and he's just getting control. He's getting stun after stun after stun after stun, and he just can't do anything. He just absolutely freshly picked up pipe as well, and we actually have the Skadi being picked up on the side of the Meepo as well, and Sven has his BKB on the way as well. So that is going to be a lot of good pickups for the side of Portal Esports, but also some decent pickups for the side of Recreational Hazard as well.
Yeah, but this Bristleback getting caught is a big deal, because in the fights they really want this Bristleback to be on the front lines before the fight starts. Like even before, when they were taking the racks, Wraith King had to go in first to start the fight, and they don't really want that.
So it looks like they actually do use a fortification in the last possible second. Meepo doing his best to kind of push out that mid lane right now. Just try to force someone back and see if they can take a 4 vs 5 pick off, and Invis rune on Meepo right now.
Might be a little bit in trouble if they do have vision here somehow.
So meanwhile, charge actually comes out from the Spirit Breaker. Looks like they want to take the fight. Immediately jumping onto the Jakiro. Jakiro actually gets taken down. Timbersaw immediately Timber chaining away, but he's actually getting control quite a bit, and we actually see TB coming out. Oh, he misses the Timber chain. Oh, they actually get a long range they get a long range Red Fire Blast, and I think this Timbersaw should be so dead. And he actually gets taken down, and that's a triple kill going the way of the Meepo.
Yeah, just over that Invis rune actually helped quite a bit there. Make sure, especially the ward they had over there, they're giving them all the vision of the Radiant heroes in their jungle. Helped them a lot to take that fight. Just this Blink Meepo is just really good against the Timbersaw, even though it was really good. It's good against the Wraith King and the Bristleback. It's really good against those heroes, but as soon as you have this burst damage, especially with the Lich Ult and the Vessel, it's just too much damage for this Timbersaw to handle, and this Sven needs to come online faster. Like, he really needs his items to start carrying this game, because Timbersaw won't be able to very soon.
Yeah, I mean, he has picked up that BKB, but once he gets that maybe the Crystallis, Daedalus, he can actually do a lot more. And this suddenly, it doesn't matter how much stats you get on the Meepo, because if you get 2 crits with God Strength, you just, almost instantly kill that Meepo. But the Wraith King is that, they have the Wraith King Bristleback combination, that super tanky front line. Because you have to commit so much to actually kill most of these heroes, right? I mean, it's very difficult to jump on a Bristleback. You need to use a certain amount of skills to actually bring him down, because otherwise he's going to quill and just bring down your backlines. And same thing with Wraith King, he has 2 lives already, he has a Radiance Burn, so he's automatically already doing damage during the fights. And the Meepo, he can jump on whoever he pleases. You can see he's going in for that Jakiro because he knows Jakiro is probably the most annoying thing to deal with right now. Take him out of the fight, sure the Leshrac is there, but then afterwards, if they actually don't have the Leshrac or the Jakiro both alive, it's actually going to be very difficult for them to deal with this E-Blade Skadi Meepo, who's at about 2800 HP roughly.
Yeah, and also the Blade Mail coming out from Wraith King is really good against Leshrac. Oh, Meepo in trouble.
Oh, meanwhile the Meepo actually might get caught out here, so looks like all 4 of them getting controlled. He does have the use available, uses it, immediately getting rooted up by most of these Meepo. Running in is the Timber Saw, but they don't have the damage right now, and he actually managed to get the poof out. The Timber Saw, the Bristleback actually getting controlled up by all this use, but once again the jump in from the Meepo onto this Timber Saw. Timber Saw trying his best to stay alive, but here comes the Wraith King, gets a Rage Fire Blast. They're trying to control the Bristleback as much as possible. The Blade Mail comes out, he actually takes a decent amount of damage, dropping all the way down to half HP. The Wraith King going to pop the wand and actually getting stunned up by that Sven, but they're immediately going to try and control this Lich. He actually gets taken down, the Reincarnation comes out and they might actually be able to bring him down. There's a buyback from the Lich right now, they're trying to focus on this Wraith King. The E-Blade is there to save him, the BKB is used by that Sven here. Is the Meepo actually going to jump out, he's waiting for his opportunity, but right now stun comes out onto the Sven getting controlled up, but the stun is there and there comes the damage from the Sven. He's actually taking so much damage on the Meepo, he's actually fighting up against the Sven getting controlled by the Spirit Breaker, but the Jakiro is actually down with the control. One more hit should be enough. Triple kill going away on the Sven, but he actually gets taken down by the Bristleback here, and it looks like that will be the end of the fight. No, there's actually more. The Leshrac actually managed to pick up the Bristleback the Barra as well, and straight up use into Ice Path, into the Split Earth, and the Bristleback dies as well, and they should be able to force a lot of buybacks here.
Yeah, that Ogre buyback was also used, so they should be still pretty careful here, because if they do get a team wipe with this Meepo buybacks, they will be in a lot of trouble. They can get a lot of map control off of this, so Portland Esports need to be really careful when they take this fight.
And especially when there's no Sven with God Strength as well.
Yeah.
But that is definitely really worth it in terms of using that first 10-second BKB they're trying to bring down. So it looks like actually gets a Stone Gate, there's a Spirit Vessel as well, immediately heals up, control coming out onto the Bristleback. There is the Spirit Earth as well, but immediate blink in buyback coming in from that Meepo, trying to catch whoever they can. And once again Spirit Vessel this time onto the Disco Pony, using the one charges right now, but getting chased down by the Spirit Breaker who does not want to let it go, and BKB being used by the Leshrac here. Does he have an opportunity to actually juke and jive? He does, but he should have another charge. He's actually going for the TP. The BKB should be over. Can he get the charge? Oh, the Stone Gate, the Gaze is there. They actually control out the Leshrac, and he's given up on life right now, and he's going to get taken down. Oh my good lord.
Yeah, Meepo tried to get the Timber Saw in the backline in that fight, but Timber Saw with that Timber Chain, he just got out. They didn't have enough lockdown for him. So all in all, it was a really good push coming out from Portland Esports. They only lost the Leshrac for that, which is whatever. Like he doesn't even need to buy back for this. He just comes out after a little while, and they're happy with taking mid-rex for that.
And suddenly almost a 7k goal lead just swinging its way back towards the side of Portal Esports. And this is where we actually start to see that Meepo kind of fall off, once you have that BKB. I mean, imagine when he gets that Crystallis there. I mean, there's so much control on both of these sides actually. And the Sven actually got control for quite a bit, even with that BKB, the ultimate from the Spirit Breaker, the charge, as well as the right click bashes. But the Jakiro, this is the thing, right? If the Jakiro does not get taken down, you can see how much support he can actually provide for the Sven to do that DPS. Bring down most of
Meepo needs that attack speed to actually get the heal off on himself, and Jakiro just slows it with the dual breath as well as the liquid fire so much that he cannot really do anything. I mean, sustain in the fight. Just he needs that heal, and Jakiro just shuts that down. But they might be getting a kill in this top lane. Sven might be just dead here.
Okay, he's running in. He does have the Ogre and the Timber Saw behind him, but immediate TP coming in from the Wraith King, immediately going to get baited in. So it looks like they're going to start right clicking and immediately trying to get out on the Wraith King, but he actually gets caught out, and here comes the Timber Chain. He should be able to bring. Oh! Attributes? What attributes? Strength hero? Excuse me. The immediate, I think this is a very, very dead Wraith King. There is no way he's actually getting out of this, and this is going to get taken down. And looks like they might be able to pressure the top T3 with this.
Yeah, they just left him to die. It was pretty sad.
That was really weird. Why did they just all of a sudden decide to get out?
I don't know why he TP'd there. Like he should have, if he wanted to TP, he maybe thought he was under the cover of the trees.
Or maybe he wasn't looking at his hero.
No, he wasn't under the cover of the trees, and then he was just like okay, I'll keep you out, and then unfortunately he wasn't.
So we actually have a pipe and a crimson guard done on the timber saw as well. So 11 stacks, 15 stacks, 22 stacks of armor right now. Immediately jumping in onto this bristle pack. Look at how much HP he loses just from the timber saw. And now Gaze coming out onto the Sven. Is he going to use that ghost strength? Charge comes out. He's actually getting controlled up. BKB also being used. Are they trying to go? Oh, and he actually gets controlled up on that Spirit Breaker. He actually gets taken down. The ghost strength as well as the BK being used. Also the Spirit Vessel is there to help the Sven as well. The Meepo still waiting, has an ultimate off with him, does not have buyback, so if they die, this should be the end of the game. Evilblade comes out, they're just trying to buy time, waiting for this Godsend to kind of run out. You can see them just throwing in these stuns, trying to pick off whoever they can. They're actually controlling this Red King. He does not have reincarnation yet. He actually managed to blow down the Bristleback as well, so they need to be careful. Here comes the Blade Mail coming in from that Red King. Does he have reincarnation? He should have it, he does have it. He's going to get taken down the first time. Look at the way they are playing these fights. The spacing is so great right now, and the Red King needs to be so careful. And the BOT coming in from this Death Shack right now. They managed to burst down this the Jakiro, but immediately the Death Shack is there with his BKB and the Pulse Nova, and the Meepo is just getting controlled up. And do they have anything to actually try and bring it down? Do they have the damage? The Timber Saw is there. That is going to be both of them going down. 130 seconds. GG is called, and first game going onto the side of Portal Esports.
Yeah, that was a very exciting game. I think the Timber Saw played pretty well that game. He had to control that game. The Meepo, I think knowing that the Meepo can do so much in that game made him then pressure the Timber Saw enough. So he has to play well in that game, otherwise they just lose the game, because you saw in the mid game how strong the Meepo was with just the Blink, E-Blade and Skadi. But because the Timber Saw had a Yule to deal with the Spirit Breaker Vessel wasn't really that good so late into the game, because they didn't really have the initiation that they need to take down this Timber Saw. They only had the net, and that's not even a proper stun, it's just a root. Like, yes, it shuts down the Timber Chain, but it's just, like, not enough.
Yeah, so with that, guys, we're just going to go into a quick, short commercial break, and once we come back, we'll be looking deeper into the game and see what maybe Recreational Hazard could have done better to kind of come out on top in that game.
Yeah, and we're back, guys. So I just want to talk a little bit more about the tri lane they had top lane. They had the Spirit Breaker, Lich, Wraith King lineup, and it's really strong. They're supposed to win that tri lane because of the Lich shield and the stuns coming out, especially Leshrac, who can't really land his Split Earth, and they can always stop him from landing in with the stuns and whatnot. But the way they played that lane with the regen at the start of the game was just so bad and so favoritism. It favored Portal Esports so much that they lost the lane that they were supposed to win, and it felt like Spirit Breaker needed to have a decent game with decent levels to be able to kite the Timber Saw around, or maybe go on the Sven a little bit more. And just losing that tri lane hurt them quite a bit, because as you saw, the Meepo did get space off of that top lane, but because his teammates weren't farmed enough, they didn't really have, the tools needed to shut down the Timber Saw when he was taking the T2s. Like, if the Spirit Breaker did have his Vessel a little bit earlier in that game, 2-3 minutes earlier in that game, then they would have been able to take these fights very easily. And I think that tri lane was like the biggest detriment to Recreational Hazard.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the ripple effect that actually came out from that tri lane, because they actually got level 2 way before the side of Recreational Hazard, and that actually gave the support so many kills. I think there were 8 kills in that first 5 minutes period, and then that actually gave the Jakiro as well as the Ogre the ability to actually just go over to the bot lane and actually kill the Bristleback off as well. And then suddenly, the hero that seems to be like doing evenly in farm in terms of the Timber Saw, because both these heroes are really good at just cutting creep waves and farming them over and over again, just denying them a lot of EX, because the Spirit Breaker had rotated in. He had taken EXP from the Bristleback, because he couldn't stay in the top lane anymore, because he kept dying and dying. He needed those levels, like you said, to be impactful in the game. And once he did get levels, we actually saw him impacting the map, but the ripple effect is just so strong that the supports had a really good start, so they got the items that they needed. We saw the Spirit Vessel being picked up on the Ogre as well, so he was quite farmed, and the Timber Saw had the freest lane of his life, and then just running around and killing a Meepo and a Bristleback afterwards is just nothing. We saw how much damage the pure damage actually does, and just taking away those attributes from that the Bristleback, and how much it just makes him a non-factor in these games.
Just the pure damage is very hard to deal with for Bristleback. Mostly the pure damage, like attribute shift, it's good against certain strength heroes, but it's mostly just the pure damage against Bristleback that just shuts him down so hard. And he needs to understand that and play a little bit safer in these fights, because they need to use him as this, this shield or this pillow that tanks all the spells coming in from the Radiant team, so that the Meepo can do his job. But unfortunately in that game, most of the fights they took in the mid game was after Bristleback died, other than that one fight where the Sven died.
Yeah.
So that was too late at that point. Like, Bristleback died way too many times. I think Timbersaw got way too much farm out of killing the Bristleback and multiple heroes so many times. I think they should have maybe avoided the Timbersaw a little bit more and just tried to play, safer in that game. Just because the tri lane went so bad. If the tri lane went good, I think
completely different game.
Completely different game. Yeah.
And with that, I think the other biggest aspect was the Aegis.
Yeah.
The Meepo losing the Aegis as soon as he picks it up, I think it's a huge loss.
That's just a good play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good play coming in from Portal Esports, but because you know how much I was, like, if you have Meepo and he's a strong hero already, but when you put an Aegis on top of him when he's that strong at that point in the game, because he was actually dominating that mid-game period.
At that point,
so if we actually managed to keep that Aegis, they managed to reset and then take a fight off that, I think even then we would have seen maybe a possible different outcome.
Possible like comeback in the sorts, because they were ahead in goal, but on the map you could see that the Timbersaw were just dominating and they weren't really ahead. So with that Aegis they could have dealt with the Timbersaw, or dealt with the Sven, or whichever hero they really needed to focus.
So with that, guys, we're going to go into a very short break, and once we get back we'll be having game 2. So it'll be on screen when it's ready, and we'll be joining you then once it is there. So till then, stay tuned. There is more action in this best of 3 finals in the lower bracket.
In-Game Esports South Asia Cup Dota 2 Championship. Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, $1,500 prize pool. Be crowned kings of South Asian Dota. Organized by In-Game Esports, powered by Intel.
Hello everyone and welcome back to In-Game Esports South Asia Cup Online, powered by Intel. I'm your caster Nightblade, and with me is Azman, and this is going to be game 2 of the best of 3 by Portal Esports and Recreational Hazard.
Yeah, so far the game number 1 is actually quite exciting. I mean, we saw literally non-stop action. Especially, we spoke about how that, trial lane was kind of a detriment in the side of Recreational Hazard, but in the end they did manage to play out a very, very good game, even with that, but I think that last pick, Timbersaw, was just brilliant.
Yeah, it was a really good counter pick. It really dealt with the Timbersaw because it looked like the Timbersaw can do a lot in that game. And the Timbersaw pick just shut him down so hard and just helped them propel into that mid game with such a big lead that they could just take the game after that.
I mean, they got so much map control out of just the tri lane being so strong in that top lane. Even the Leshrac picking up that Eels and Boots of Travel so quick into the game.
Yeah, and I think just getting that mid tower and the top tower so early so that they can just stay in the jungle was a big deal, so that Meepo couldn't just farm 5 camps at once, and he had to farm the lanes and just farm a few camps. But he didn't get caught out, which was I thought was really good by the Meepo. He never got caught out, never got picked off, which was a good thing to see from a Meepo. Like, you want your Meepo to keep farming all the time without getting picked off, and he did do that. He did everything he could that game, I think, but unfortunately the enemy team was just a little bit too far ahead and they couldn't come back from that.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting on how they adjust in game number 2, whether they're willing to actually give the Meepo again and maybe give another counter instead of Timbersaw this time, or whether they're actually going to ban it out in the first phase. Because Portal Esports, I think, they were quite confident in how they played against the Meepo as well. I mean, they had so much lockdown, so much control. But I think if they had made even one small mistake, the fight would have gone completely the other way. Because the Meepo's targeting was actually very good. It's just the fact that the Bristleback didn't really have too much time to kind of, be that frontliner for the Meepo to actually try and get those pick-offs.
I mean, even if he did get a decent amount of farm, it's still against a Timbersaw. So he was just really countered that game, and it felt like he couldn't do his job, so then it felt like they had one less hero in the game. He was really good at kiting the Sven. I think that was a really good thing that the Bristleback provides in a team fight. He can kite the Sven, he can kite supports, he can kite Ogre, but if he gets bursted down immediately at the start of the fight, it just doesn't help his team whatsoever, so we're just unfortunate. And we are into the draft right now. Portal Esports picking up Ogre Magi and Recreational Hazard picking up the Leshrac. So it's a little bit of a swapperoo here.
Yeah, Recreational Hazard, they actually do play that Leshrac quite well as well. Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see whether he's going to be that position for, play for the late game, try and rat them, put pressure on the map, basic kind of hero that we saw in the previous engagement that they had during the group stage or the playoffs. But, Portal Esports is going in for that Ogre as well as Jakiro, which is very interesting. I mean, both these heroes work really well. So Recreational Hazard picking up the Kunkka. Kunkka just one of those heroes who are just super annoying. And now that they're on the Radiant side, actually, this Kunkka is actually so good just because of one fact. The fact that this, so he has done this in a few of his games as well. So Recreational Hazards, their mid laner, Hawkeye, the Kunkka player actually knows how to stack the ancient camps using Torrent. Yeah. So he actually gets a burst of gold through that, and he actually snowballs into the game. So it's going to be very good for him. And most of the time, Kunkka is one of those heroes who very rarely loses his matchups unless he overplays his hand. But most of the time, just because of that Tidebringer damage, he actually does a decent amount of damage to most of these heroes. It's easy for him to win that regen battle as well, unless it's like a Shadowfiend who knows what he's doing.
If they could still pick up a Monkey King against the Kunkka right now, and it'll be hard. But I think they're going to ban it now, unless they expect Portal Esports to go with something else against the Kunkka, because Monkey King is always just really good against the Kunkka. It can farm, and we see Timbersaw being banned out, which is also decent against the Kunkka. But they still have Monkey King to pick up if they really want on Portal Esports. And I think this Kunkka pick, even though it's picked early, it's maybe they want to use this ship in a way that will support the rest of their lineup. So I think they're pretty comfortable with the Kunkka pick as well as the Leshrac pick. Usually they played 4 with the Recreational Hazard, so they want some sort of, Shadow Demon, I mean not Shadow Demon is banned out, but some sort of stun to go with the Leshrac, because the Ogre has been taken up by Portal Esports, so they want something to go with this Leshrac so he can land his stuns. I mean the Torrent is there, but just in the lane in general. Maybe the Sand King is there. I mean Sven has been taken out by Portal Esports. I think that's one of Recreational Hazard's better heroes, so they just take it out.
That's true, but then like it's always nice to have someone who can actually set up for that less track stun as well, just because of the fact that the X and the torrent actually gives the side of the Portal Esports supports to actually react to what's happening in the game as well. So that's an option you always have, because landing the torrent without using that X is actually quite difficult, and you need to be always predict where they're going to move, because obviously the Wisp being picked up. Are you willing to see the Wisp carry, or do you want to see
it still might be a Ogre offlane, but more likely it's going to be a carry Wisp, because right now it's really good with Bloodlust, it's really good with Ogre in general, the Wisp hero, and I think they have a decent lineup. Like Wisp is pretty good against Kunkka and stuff like that. Like they cannot burst him when he's pretty strong, like when he gets Scepter and when he gets his Helm, and if he gets a Heart. I don't think they have enough damage right now to deal with the Wisp if he does get farmed.
I mean, they did manage to pick up the Grimstroke, but what do they really have in terms of like
Double X.
like basically double X. Double X, double lightning.
Yeah, double lightning. That's all they have really. Yeah, and maybe this is just something with the Wisp, because you want to soulbind the two of them together, or soulbind the Wisp so that it doesn't tether away.
Or even to stop the relocate.
Yeah, the silence is there, the stun is there, it's always good against the Wisp. I mean, the Wisp can always outplay the stun by tethering and dodging the stun, but that soulbind is what they really want against this Wisp. And it's even good against Ember,
Yeah, so even the Ember being picked up, I think soulbind is just one of those abilities that just kind of dampens the way that the Ember Spirit can actually play, because it takes away all that mobility that he actually provides. But then it depends on how well the Grimstroke actually positions himself, because the Ember Spirit can actually get on top of the Grimstroke. There's really no way that he can actually manage to get out unless there's another hero actually hindering his movement. But other than that, Ember Spirit is just one of those heroes who wants to go into the back line and kind of just pressure and try and take out the two supports, and in this case the Leshrac as well as the Grimstroke. I mean, you can always, if you're a really good Ember Spirit player, you can always dodge that Split Earth with your Side of Fist as well if you want to hold on to it.
But there's always the X from Kunkka. I feel like that's a pretty big issue for the Ember Spirit. X is really good against Ember Spirit. Especially with the...
Yeah, so the thing about Kunkkas, right? So once you have... So usually by the time you actually get your level 6, you only have level 1 in Torrent. So you can either do two things.
Oh, wow. That's a good pick.
Okay, so the Meepo is actually picked up. So Meepo is also really good against both these heroes, the IO as well as the
Ember Spirit.
Ember Spirit. And this time they don't have all that control that they had in that last game.
Yeah, Timbersaw is being banned out. They don't really have much for this Meepo right now other than the Dual Breath and Liquid Fire. Maybe the Aghanim Scepter will deal with the Wisp quite well, actually, by the Wisp, and as well, Ember Spirit's decent later in the game. But early, if this Meepo gets a good start, it's really hard. I think there's nothing that like a Timbersaw that can help them, come back into the game.
To be honest, I feel like this might be a safe lane. Meepo and the Kunkka might go mid. It's
either one is fine.
But then Recreational Hazard actually runs an offlane Kunkka as well.
Yeah, I mean, either one is fine right now, I think. It doesn't really matter. Like, whatever the Meepo prefers, I think that's where he's going to go.
Yeah, depends. I think the Meepo has a pretty decent matchup against the Ember Spirit, but we saw, I think, in one of the games, the Flame Guard, once you do max it out, the poof doesn't really do too much damage.
Yeah.
And I mean, Flame Guard is one of those skills you can always activate, but if the Meepo has a very good lane and he gets that Blink Dagger, E-Blade into that Hex, I think every single time the Ember Spirit is going to be one of those free kills.
He might not even need Hex this game just because of the Grimstroke ult. Like, it's going to stop him from doing anything. And anyway, he's just if Meepo gets E-Blade this game, I think at a decent timing, let's say before 15 or something, then I think this game is just over because they don't have any comeback, right? Like, the only thing they have to push lanes right now is this Jakiro and Ember Spirit, and you don't want to give farm to Jakiro. They don't have much lane push right now. And
IO also takes a decent amount of time to actually pick up those items, get that level 15, get the Aghanims, and like Meepo doesn't really care whether you get those items or not. He gets his items and he just runs at you. In the last game it was very difficult because you had the Split Earth you had to deal with, the Ice Path you had to deal with, the Ogre Fire Blast you had to deal with, the Sven Stun you had to deal with, and the Timbers you had to deal with, so that is really... but in this game, it's actually a much more freer Meepo game right now. So Portal Esports is going to have to think quite hard about who they actually want to pick up to deal with their setup right now. Because even with the board buff, we can obviously forget the board buff as well. That gives you, that bonus rum buff as well onto all your Meepos. It's going to be quite insane. So, this Meepo is going to be running at you at some point in this game.
15 minutes, he's going to get something and just run at you. And then you're going to have to be able to defend against that, especially when he dies towers, because that's what he's planning to do for sure. Ember Spirit, by that time, maybe only drums, Maelstrom, not even Maelstrom.
No, probably just drums.
Yeah,
maybe
just
drums and a few small items.
Close to Maelstrom, something like that, and that's not enough to deal with a Meepo. Wisp will only have the Helm, he won't have Scepter yet. And if he does, if he has a good lane, he can get Scepter by 17 or 16 which is a really good timing for a Scepter on Wisp.
But with the Kunkka and a Leshrac in your lane, it might be very difficult because Kunkka and Leshrac actually might get quite a decent amount of kill potential once they hit level 3. You don't even need to get that level in Tidebringer. You can actually get X into Torrent, set up for the Leshrac, and if the supports are actually too close by, it's very difficult to disengage. But that is also very difficult to say because you have the dual breath, so it slows down your right clicks.
Jakiro is just a good support against
exactly.
any sort of aggressive tri lane. So. Aggressive lane in general.
And even Kunkka just not having the best attack animation or attack speed
Yeah.
in general. I mean, he's just one of those heroes where you want to just
Enchantress.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a good pick.
I like that pick as well.
It removes Bloodlust, which is really nice. Removing Bloodlust, I think, is the biggest deal here. Because if you remove Bloodlust on Ember Spirit and Wisp and stuff like that, it's really good. It just hampers the Ogre pick so much that it feels useless because Impetus also just deals with so many of these heroes really well.
And it's a very strong hero now in the lane.
Yeah, the only problem is the burst magic damage coming from Police was really high. So all Enchanters can really do in a fight if they don't pick off the Ember Spirit or the Wisp is she can just enchant and maybe 2 Impetus and she'll die.
Yeah, probably.
So
looking at things right now, I feel like Recreational Hazard might go with mid lane Kunkka, safe lane Meepo, and maybe an off lane Enchantress with the setup that they do have. It could be the opposite way as well. So it could be the mid lane Meepo and safe lane Kunkka as well. But the Enchantress will definitely have a very good time against the Jakiro and the IO because I mean he just has so much sustain in the lane and he does a lot of damage to the right clicks actually at the start of the game as well. And when you have a Leshrac or a Grimstroke on top of that, that's a lot of free harass and end of the day they win that regen war, they get those towers, and if you can build into maybe power trades, into drums, into hood, I think the Enchantress might actually have a game.
And this Enchantress feels like the hero could be just kept alone in a lane. Like you can try lane with the Leshrac, Grimstroke, Kunkka and leave Enchantress alone in a lane and make sure you win the Kunkka lane because Kunkka kind of needs help. He cannot do much, he has 2 people as well. He needs levels for that. But with the Grimstroke, with that added stun in the lane, the Kunkka can just run in and maybe get a few kills. Even onto they can even just go on the Jakiro instead of going on the Wisp or whoever is the safe lane. Here Slark is going to be a safe lane. But Slark is a decent pick here. I think Slark is okay. Not against Ench. Like it's good against Ench because of the burst magic damage. Like they have a lot of magic damage for this Ench. And this Meepo might still be able to deal with him though.
Yeah, I think the Meepo can actually get on top of the Slark. It actually might be very difficult for him to even actually have a game. So once again, it will come down to how well the Meepo's timings actually hit. So then, like we said, if he gets that positive before 15 minutes, Ethereal Blade into that Blink Dagger, I think he'll have a really good chance of just dominating this game. Because if he gets those pickoffs and he puts these heroes behind, Ember Spirit is one of those heroes who does not really play too well from behind. But before we get into that, we do have the Tournament MVP award by Intel, which is going to be the Intel NUC, also known as the Hades Canyon with the dual chip processors. So you have the Radeon RX Vega graphics card for your amazing performance in whatever game you want to play, and then you have the Intel Core i7 or i8 in terms of performance in your how well your device runs. So with that, obviously you do have all these amazing ports that you can use as well. So you have the Thunderbolt port, you have these HDMI ports, and everything that you basically need in your PC as well, all just kind of packed in.
Literally more ports than my PC.
Already more ports than most general PCs. And the best thing about it is it gives you that VR option as well. I think it's really great for virtual reality, and also everything is just built into this very small form factor PC. And as you can see in terms of aesthetics, you actually have that very, very sick skull as well, which comes in 3 different colors. So you can have it in blue, green or red. So you have a choice with that as well, and this looks amazing.
RGB these days are very nice too.
So with that, we do have the tournament awards for HyperX, the HyperX Cloud 2, and the Gamer's Choice, which you guys at home are currently voting for. So obviously this has been going on for quite some time, and there have been a lot of votes for a lot of these players. So it's going to be very interesting to see which gamer actually wins this Gamer's Choice award for the HyperX Cloud 2. Then you have the Best Support Player, Best Carry Player, the Unkillable Award, which is going to be very interesting to see who actually takes that one home, and the Tournament MVP being that lucky man who takes home the Intel NUC, as well as the HyperX Cloud 2.
A lot of prizes being given away at this tournament here, and a lot of happy people.
Definitely a lot of happy people. I mean, I'd be super happy if I got, any of these. I think I've tested the Intel NUC and even the HyperX Cloud 2 headset. I mean, it's so comfortable on your ears. It doesn't make you, too uncomfortable, because after some time you do have a few headsets that make your ears sweaty, and it's very uncomfortable.
Too tight.
But the Cloud X is just perfect. It's a perfect fit. It has a very comfortable cushion as well, and the sounds. I mean, the most important thing obviously is the sound, and the sound on it is actually quite great. And with that, we'll be getting into the game. So looks like it is going to be an IO and Ogre. So it's going to be an Ogre core. Looks like So and it looks like it's going to be a support position for IO, so we won't be able to see that safe in IO. With that, we'll have the Ember Spirit, and we actually have the Slark going mid lane against the Kunkka, which is going to be interesting. And now Jakiro just trading up against the Grimstroke here. They do see 3 of these heroes approaching, and that is going to be a 2-for-2 trade in terms of bounty runes. But how do you think the Meepo is going to fare against this IO and Ogre combination?
It's hard. He's going to be alone, right? I think they're going to try lane top. They might switch around, but right now, yeah, we see the Grimstroke TPing bot. That was just for the bounty rune. So even with the Grimstroke here, I think Meepo might just want to farm. They won't want to play aggressive, but this Ogre, once he gets to level 2 or 3, he might try to get kills on this the Meepo or the Grimstroke, and they can really get kills, especially with the Wisp. They can always dive, and they so much health regen. And I think this mid lane is going to be really hard for Slark.
No, but then just taking a look at it right now, I mean the Kunkka missed the entire creep wave.
Oh.
He missed the entire creep wave, so missed the range creep as well. So the thing about Kunkka, when you have this, so he's actually taking so much damage from the tower as well as the he actually has a Orb of Venom. He might be able to get the first blood here, and the Slark actually gets blocked in by the Radiant creeps. Oh, fortune favors the brave, and meanwhile in the top lane, looks like the first blood is going to fall. And actually no, it is what? Huh?
I think the creeps took it.
Yeah, probably the creeps took it.
Yeah,
so
but Ember Spirit is gonna die as well here.
So it looks like the Enchantress is going to try to give it over to the Enchantress right there. Actually, the left strike just takes the kill. Jakiro comes back into the lane, but successful manage to get 2 kills. And right now, once again, we see the Slark pressuring this Kunkka here once again, taking a decent amount of damage. And sadly, both of these guys, just a few mistakes being there. So the thing about Kunkka, right, is you have to be so careful with this level 1 Tidebringer, because it actually brings your range creep into that deny range.
Yeah.
So until you get phase boots. So once you get phase boots and you have level 3 in your Tidebringer, you can't one-shot the range creep, which means every single time if the Slark is aware of what's happening, it's going to be a free range creep deny, and then you just lose, EXP from that, and that's a huge win for the Slark.
Yeah, but the Slark is going to suffer in this lane, I feel like, just because the Kunkka harasses him so much.
Yeah, look at the damage right now.
It's just very hard for Slark. I think they're just going to tell the Slark to just, deal with it for a little bit, because there's nobody else that can go into the lane to contest this Kunkka. All the other heroes are pretty bad against Kunkka in the lane. Ogre, Ember, they're just really bad against Kunkka. So they're like, okay, Slark, we'll make space for you, and we'll win the other lanes. But unfortunately, this Enchantress is doing a really good job against Ember Spirit, and this Meepo also is not really contested. So right now, top CS on all lanes are for Recreational Hazard.
Yeah, so far the positive is right there. Meepo's on his way to hitting that timing as well. The Ogre out of mana right now, trying to zone out the Meepo. The Grimstroke is around, but then right now just trying to get this pulls off and trying to get the harass off. But with an IO, I mean it's quite difficult right now.
It is an IO core. It's not the Ogre core. Like IO is getting the last hit, so we will see that IO being the one who gets the farm in this lane, but it's not going to change how the lane matchup really works. It's still going to be kind of Meepo favored.
Oh, looks like we might actually see a go onto the Jakir here. The slow is there, the enchant is there as well. We should be seeing the split earth connects, and with the Diabolic Edict, that should be another kill going the way of this Leshrac. We saw him play it last time as well when they won that really long game against Portal Esports. But right now things not looking that great. Actually, the Kunkka might have an opportunity here to try and bring down this Slark. Should have another Tidebringer up. He actually misses it. He does have X and Torrent if he wants to use it. Does not going for that aggressive play, just playing quite safe against.
I think he knows he's winning the CS battle.
But I think he wants to keep the Slark at this HP, so when he hits level 6, he can just burst him down.
I mean, it's gonna take a while from level 6. I think he's just wants to deny as much creeps as he wants.
Or force him to buy into a lot of
more
regen.
Yes. Yeah, one of the two. But
unfortunate.
He's missing quite a few assets in this lane. But
and once again, we might actually see the go here. So here comes the Torrent trying to force out. No, he has the Dark Pack as well, so he actually connects. Oh, yes, one more clip. Oh, it does not. He didn't have the Tidebringer in time.
If he had the Tidebringer. Jakiro dying one more time top.
Meanwhile in the bot lane, looks like they want to make a go. Level 3 is there on the Meepo. The second net is there as well. Fairy Fire being used. The Ogre needs to be so careful. The Meepo actually getting beaten down. He actually gets taken out. The Ogre right-clicking the IO for the win. The regen with that health of Ring of Regen, as well as the Bacillus for that extra damage and this extra armor against the Meepo. And just managing to bring him down.
That Grimstroke had his Stroke of Fate at the end, but he wanted to give it to the Meepo, and then they just kind of messed up there a little bit. But all in all, it's okay. It's like Meepo dying once.
But look at this Ember Spirit. He's actually getting bullied so much by this Enchantress. Like he's like, just running at you, and now Slark actually making a pounce onto the Kunkka here. He needs to be quite careful. Actually missing that hit very interestingly enough, but the Wraith Bang being picked up on the Slark here. So
Slark is just outplaying him, I think, in this lane. The Kunkka missed way too many last hits, and now Slark is strong enough with the 3 points in Essence Shift to contest the Kunkka a little bit. Kunka's obviously going to harass him a lot more, but Slark getting to level 6 but while being the top CS is already a win for him, because after he's level 6 he doesn't really care about the harass.
Yeah, so looks like we'll be having the bounty drones in a few seconds. Just trying to zone out this Grimstroke, so you can see Meepo moving in as well, going for the other rune. It looks like it'll be a 2-for-2 trade. Actually, it's going to be 2-for-3. Ogre running in, but he's not going to be able to get that, and Meepo actually in a heads-up play. So looks like the side of Recreational Hazard is going to be able to pick up 3 bounty runes too.
Yeah, that's very important for them. They want to have a decent early game in this game, and getting those bounty runes really helps them transition into that easily. And this top lane right now, Enchantress having a really good time, but the Ember has caught up in a few last
Torrent being used, so now he has an opportunity to get aggressive onto this Kunkka here. Just going to take a lot of these stacks, just trying to keep that, damage and attack speed as much as he can. Try to get the harass off on the Kunkka, but the Stark just doing a really good job. I mean, it looked pretty hard for him in that game, but then just hesitating a little bit onto that Stark.
Enchantress might be in a bit of trouble here. One Splatterface could kill her if she doesn't use, that would have killed her if she didn't heal there.
So really good heads-up play there from her coming out, but she goes almost all the way back up to full HP and back to harassing these heroes. Yeah. I mean, just not having to purchase extra.
Ogre
moving in. Has level 4. He does have the IO around as well. But the Grimstroke is wrapping in from around. He does have an Invis rune. Does he have a level in Silence though? Is the question. He might have 2 levels in Stroke of Faith. Yeah, no levels in Silence, and now they want to try and make go because the Leshrac is also here, so they do have another stun setup as well. So that is going to be a dead IO going the way of the Meepo, and now chasing down this Leshrac, chasing down this Ogre. Does have the Diabolic ED running around right now.
There's no damage.
Just no damage at all.
Because of the armor on Ogre, it's very sad. And Leshrac rotation not really worth it, to be completely honest. He could have stayed top and harassed the 2 heroes top more, but it's okay. He can still rotate, maybe kill the Slark right now in the mid lane.
I think they just want to give this Enchantress 6 as much as possible, because right now the Jakiro is level 2, this Ember Spirit is level 4, and look at the damage!
Yeah, she's fine though. She just presses E and she's okay.
So this Jakiro needs to be careful, because he
Jakiro's
can
dead, like if the Ember Spirit, if he had lower mana, then Enchantress would have just gone on the Jakiro, but since Ember Spirit does have a little bit of mana, she's just playing a little bit safer.
She does hit level 6, he has that impetus right now, and the damage, it hurts.
It hurts so much.
She does not have any more mana regen though, she has one more
Ember
impetus. Ember? She gets taken out
that's
there.
a dead Ember.
Oh my lord. What a play coming out from the Enchantress there.
Yeah, he pressed R.
He pressed R, like he understood how to range and just managed to bring down the Ember Speed before he hit level 6 and just gets taken out there. It's super important, they know that Jakiro's in the area, and now Kunkka forced to just go into the jungle.
Ember Spirit keeping top again, but the Leshrac and
does have the side of face, but he might actually get caught here. Does not have level 6 yet, he's quite close to it, but not yet. Ember Spirit now completely zoned out by most of the heroes, and looks like they're trying to make a go onto the Stark here. Dark Pact is out, does have a creep, there's a creep, a nice torrent as well, and he's dead. Well played, Kunkka. Nice torrent, nice Sidebringer hit right there to bring him down, and now you can see
good play.
Ember Spirit just getting bullied all the way out.
But good play coming from the Kunkka, using that boat first against the Slark, knowing that he needs to land that instant stun rather than the torrent that he can Dark Pact off. So that's a good play coming from the Kunkka there.
Yeah, definitely. And then the torrent follow-up bought him so much time actually. He timed it so well. Because the moment the Dark Pack was kind of over, the torrent hit and he was just stuck in that
place. It's a much better combo than the torrent into both.
And it also stopped, the best part is the double brace actually helped you so much against Stark, because like we said, the Dark Pack does offer a decent amount of magic burst, but with the 2 braces and Kunkka just being the Kunkka.
I think the magic burst is more for the Enchantress.
So here we saw the first blood that was not really a first blood, because the creeps kind of stole the...
this lane is so sad, honestly.
And then Ember Spirit actually also getting taken down here. Interestingly enough, and then as you can see, he actually gets taken down, and that is going to be 2 kills going their way, and then once again getting caught out once again this time. That Enchantress range, the enchant range is so huge.
Yeah.
It's actually insane how
it's more like the slow it provides is very high.
So here we saw the
Meepo dying here.
Yeah, the Meepo actually died.
He has stroke right now, and he's not using it because he wanted to give it to Meepo, and then the one just surprised him.
Oh, and then immediately you have the pick off onto the IO as well. This was decent, but then just being able that the Leshrac rotation kind of just got wasted because of the fact that they could have just blown him up on his own.
Oof.
And this is that solo kill.
And I got Ember Spirit try to come back to remove some of the damage, but it didn't.
So once again, there's actually no Dark Pack being used, so he actually got control quite a bit.
Yeah, that was just really good because the instant stun into the torrent was enough.
So the thing about Kunkka is maybe like even picking up like that chainmail, like going to a phase boots, get that chainmail, that early level in armor. It actually mitigates a decent amount of damage coming out from the Tidebringer and makes you much stronger. And then even if you want, you could always pick up the Bacillus as well because it's not an expensive item. You can just quickly make it, and it's still beneficial on a hero like Stark as well. But it's still tough. It's just decisions that you want to make. But he wanted to go into that Wraith Band, try to get his boots as soon as possible, going to brown boots as well as that claw of attack. But just not having enough armor because the Tidebringer is doing so much damage.
Claw of attack.
Sorry.
Blades of
attack. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Claw of attack.
Anyway, we can see the XP difference here is so much in favor of Recreational Hazards. Obviously.
I sought a port, not a portly.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
He's always going to be
Enchantress might be in trouble here though because they could rotate and kill her. She's still pretty squishy and they have a lot of magic damage, especially if the Stark rotates in because of the Dark Pact. I mean, it's only level 1 I think. I think he maxed Essence Shift. I don't know if he got a few levels in Dark Pact after that, but they can still take down this Enchantress pretty easily if they use all their spells on her, and she does die, and that's very big.
Stark actually just right-clicking onto this Kunkka here. He needs to be a little bit careful. Actually, the pounce latches onto the Kunkka, and meanwhile, top lane, Ember Spirit actually trying to slide off face, and once again, Kunkka getting chased down is actually now the Leshrac. Dark Pact is there, managed to remove off that Torrent, and right now getting that solo kill onto the Jakiro is this Grimstroke. So it looks like the Kunkka was able to make it out alive.
And Enchantress just dies because she can still die to the Ember Spirit Burst.
And look at how much gold the Ember Spirit actually got.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Enchantress really needs to play safe against this Ember Spirit because 1, he can dodge Impetus, and 2, he can turn it into a kill because of the magic damage burst. The only thing Enchantress is weak against, literally, the only thing he's weak against is the magic damage burst.
Oh, if he does not land this pounce, actually, the Shack might be able to get away. He's so fast. This opponent, there's no way. He's just dead. He doesn't have Dark Pact. He actually pops a bond as well. He still has Ignite on himself and he's just running away. Does not have another pounce for a very long time.
He's wasting a lot of time.
He's actually creating so much space there. He can actually just TP. He cannot TP.
No,
the Ogre has no mana right now. And now once again, Dark Pact is there. Just perfect timing, managing to remove that Split Earth and the kill going the way of the Ogre.
That sucks. You chased him for so long and then Ogre's like, it's mine. But we see the Enchantress rotating out of the lane and Meepo going to the Ember lane, which is what they really need to do before the Enchantress died. But I mean, they still made the change and now Enchantress is going to pressure this bot tower and try to get it. Ember Spirit might be in trouble in the top lane here.
So it looks like Meepo actually managed to get the net off, but the Ember Spirit just managed to dodge the second one with that Sleight of Fist. Trying to make a TP, but the Split Earth is there, and one more Sleight of Fist. Jump onto the Remnant, but the Leshrac is there with that Pulse Nova, getting the kill onto that Ember Spirit.
They scouted the Remnant out.
Oh, looks like this Ogre is there. The Silence is there as well. One more hit. Here comes. Oh, actually the Impetus, but it actually goes over to the Grimstroke there. And he's going to be happy with that.
Ogre is not the tank hero you think of when he's against Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress. Yeah, exactly. I mean, with the damage that he does, it's kind of insane.
And
he has the Midas picked up as well, and he has the Power Treads if he wants to.
Kind of a small mistake by Lencher, just letting the card die, but she could have tanked it and used heal. But
yeah, probably. I mean, they don't have a fortification either, but I don't think anyone will want to come and contest the Enchantress.
They have a fortification.
Yeah, if they fortify, I mean, you have an option of fortifying because right now, looking at things on
you
the side
can fortify,
of
it's fine.
Yeah, on the side of Portal Esports right now, there's no real threat of them pushing your towers. So because that, I mean, using the fortification right here shouldn't be too huge of a issue because you can always use that, have the untouchable
and
as well as the
I like this build that Enchantress is going, the Midas build this game, just because Ember's gonna farm fast, Stark is gonna farm fast, and if they get to the mid game, you're not gonna farm anywhere close to as fast as them, and you really need this Midas to get the items at a decent time in the late to mid game.
Yeah, so there we saw the pick off onto the Ogre in the mid lane, and now just trying to bring down this Leshrac was the Slug. Actually managed to bring the Kunkka quite low, but the Kunkka just managed to run away.
Yeah.
And then with that, we actually saw the jukes and jives, the space being created by this Leshrac here, as you can see. Trying to go for another split earth, actually managed to connect onto the Slug here. Just gets his Dark Pact off.
Yeah.
And just by a decent amount of time, usually then and there, does have only enough for one more. But the Leshrac just buying so much space, as you can see, just running around, you know, just trying to avoid most of them. And then he's like, Ogre's like, hello.
Yeah.
And then club. Just takes the kill.
See, this Leshrac might be in trouble here. He's getting gone on by 3 heroes and he probably will fall.
Yeah, so Leshrac is probably going to go down, not even going to get through the animation of Splitter.
But I mean, this is what his Leshrac was doing in that one game that he played. He was just on the other side of the map, pushing the lanes. He's in position 4. He really doesn't care if he dies that much. But, you know, at some point, against a lineup that needs a lot of farm to come back into the game, giving these kills away to core heroes like the Slark or the Wisp or the Ember is really big. So dying like this too many times is not really good.
Oh, we might actually see his stun coming out onto the Kunkka here. I think the Ogre might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the X as well as the board. It should connect. Does have the torrent, brings him back, and this should be a very dead Ogre. And the nice rotation coming in from the Leshrac also just kind of confirm the kill. And now everyone is running through Macropie. Is like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're going to take this tower. This tower is so important for them to take because they really want to invade the enemy jungle.
So now the Enchantress with a double damage. Stop it! Stop it! It hurts.
Ouch.
It hurts. I don't think
and the Ember Spirit might be getting a kill here.
Oh, they don't have the silence this time onto the Grimstroke because they did manage to right click it off, and Ember Spirit should be able to make it out. The IO is in the area. The Ember Spirit just kind of dancing around, taking a few impetus hits. The double damage is still available. The Slark is coming. He does have the pounce available if he can latch it, another searing chains, but it lands on the 2 further targets right now. Oh, the damage. He actually gets
nice enchant.
Yeah, he actually steals it, but then immediately getting Helm of the Dome once again. Here comes the Torrent into the X combination with the Tidebreaker.
Wisp almost gets one hit.
The Ember Spirit needs to be careful as well, and now the Wisp should be able to walk away, and they don't have a shrine, but they should be able to heal up quite decently, and looks like Ember Spirit should be having his drums done momentarily. I just want to see how the Meepo is doing in terms of what he has. So you can see just farming up these ancient stacks. He does have his 4 Wraith Band, so he's getting very close to that Eager Song.
He's going to get it by 15. And then as soon as he hits 15, he's going to probably get all the kills that he can, but he's going to mostly focus on his Blink and then start, you know, getting kills maybe onto the Wisp.
No, because if the Meepo can actually get on top of the Slark or the Ember Spirit, they can probably guarantee that kill. Oh, what a lovely stack there.
Yeah.
Did you get both?
I'm not sure. I can't see the both.
Yeah, even I can't see it, so it's fine. But looks like Slark picked out the face booth. He's going in for his drums as well, so the usual drums into Diffusal, and there's an Enchantress just running past it. Look at that. He's like, Sprite!
Yeah. It's very scary when you see Enchantress. And this Wisp got the Helm, trying to go Scepter and Heart, but he's going to take a little bit of time to get this Scepter and Heart. I mean, if he gets it, I think he's good. I think he's very strong once he gets it because they don't have the damage to kill off a Wisp with that much HP.
Yeah, so looks like the Eagle Song was picked up. We do have the Midas on the Enchantress with that Power Tridge as well as an Ogre club as well, so he's actually quite tanky.
Yeah.
You can see the Leshrac as well as the Kunkka both just going in for these braces, you know, try and brace themselves for most of the damage that they're coming. See what I did there?
Yeah, but the Kunkka is pretty underfarmed.
Oh, I think Zekiro just might die again here. The Enchantress is on top of him right now. There's really no way unless he lands the...
Oh, nice.
Yoink!
Yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, bot lane looks like they want to try and make a go. The boat is there, he actually connects, and the Slark jumping straight onto the Leshrac needs to be careful. But the mountain! Please! Oh, meanwhile, 4 heroes in the bot lane. The Kunkka needs to try and get away, trying to dodge these. And here comes the Enchantress trying to do a decent amount of damage onto the SACO, who actually is out of mana right now. Ogre actually in a little bit of trouble here. The Fire Blast as well as the Searing Chains right there. Now the Ember Spirit also getting silence. The silence is that needs one more hit, but the Torrent comes off just in time. Needs to get a little more distance, but that's the side of his dodge. And the Grimstroke actually gets taken down. The root is there onto the IO, immediately going to and he got the X, and the Meepo is there, and this should be a dead IO. That's a 3-for-2 trade right now, and Recreational Hazard is going to be super happy with that 8k lead right now in terms of net worth.
Yeah, Ember Spirit making a mistake, not having enough remnants to get out there. He just overestimated his hero a little bit there.
I mean, he tried. I mean, he wanted to push the boundaries. They thought it was a good fight because it was a 4 against 1.
They tried to go on Kunkka so many times, and they're not able to get him. As soon as he gets that board buff up, it's like you expect the enemy to TP support, and you know how strong this Enchantress is at this point in the game. So, I think without like your remnant charges, you can't really commit to a fight like that.
That's true. Without your remnant charges, it's very difficult to play that Ember Spirit because you want him to be that elusive, deal damage from, from a distance and then commit when it's like a very good opportunity to commit. But right now they didn't have the information on where the Enchantress was. They didn't have the information on where the Meepo was. So either way,
they don't even have the damage to kill off the Kunkka. So it's pretty hard to play like that. But Wisp, the biggest deal being that Wisp rotated in and died, which is very sad. Like he could have just farmed the jungle, could have just farmed the lanes, and he would have been much better off than coming into that fight.
So it looks like your post 15-minute E-Blade was done on the Meepo, and right now we're taking a look at the courier. This looks like it has picked up Ember Spirit's Javelin right now. So it looks like did he skip getting that drums, or did he already picked it up?
Not
so it looks like the courier is on the way right now to deliver his item to the Ember Spirit, who's currently pushing out this mid lane. Very nice set right now. So he has completed the drums as well. So he's quite close to his Maelstrom, just about 1,100 gold off. But the Meepo is actually going to be able to. Looks like in the top lane they might actually make a go here. There's a smoke.
But
rotation.
It's not good for the Dire team. Meepo is pretty strong right now.
Oh, immediately here comes the stun coming out from the Grimstroke. Oh, nice ulti into that silence. The Soulbind is there. Both they managed to take off the silence there, but disengage is being made, and
this is a bait. This is a bait. If they commit to this, Meepo will turn here, but...
Yeah, and the Kunkka has finished his Radiance as well. So.
Yeah, Kunkka he's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's a pretty good timing on the...
Yeah, it's really good. He got it at 16:30.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, like, given how his timing in the mid lane against the
Slark,
I mean, just getting a pre-16 minute, pre-17 minute Radiance is actually quite good.
Yeah, it's really good. And now they can just push us 5. That's exactly what they're going to do. Kunkka just going to the bot lane. I think they might see the Radiance burn, but... Oh, Ember Spirit jumping in onto the Meepo.
He actually turned off. So meanwhile, jumping in, Ember Spirit getting silenced, almost immediately getting controlled up. Oh. No, why?
Okay, it's fine.
So it's fine. Another courier actually just flying in, and here comes the Kunkka. He does get the death pact off right now on that start. So he's able to manage to get out, and now the Remnant all the way back, but the getting extra as well. Look at all those marks. He's going to get taken down on the Ember Spirit, dead for 45 seconds right now, and now the Slark fighting out the Grimstroke, but the Meepo doing a very good job of controlling him right now, and he's taking so much damage from the Enchantress. Another net is there, and an E-Blade as well, but he does manage to bring him down, but the Slark is on the run right now. There's no way he's getting out. No way he's getting away from this Enchantress, and once again a 3-4-1 exchange. And it's not even done. They get the stun off onto the Ogre here. Seb is the call. And a double kill for the Enchantress.
Yeah, that ward being one of the MVPs of that fight. They wouldn't have been able to get the Slark without that ward on the high ground. Gave them a lot of vision. Gave them kill security against the Slark. Grimstroke doing his job. And looks really good. Like, Wisp is doing what he has to do. He can't really join these fights. He needs the items before he can. And as soon as he gets these items though, he still doesn't have anyone to like...
So they look like they're actually going high ground. So Ice Path is there, disconnect onto the left side. He needs to be a little careful. He's actually taking a decent amount of that damage right there. He does have 4 stuff though. But the Enchantress actually has a Dragon Lance as well as a Hood of Defiance. Yeah. So he's actually super tanky, and like, let's not even forget, this is on top of board buff as well.
Yeah, I mean, even without board buff, like, this is just so that she doesn't get bursted by Ember, because Ember can always burst her without this Hood. She just clicks Hood and she's fine because of the heal being so good on this hero. But no burst kill onto the Ench anymore.
Oh, they actually managed to get the X off onto the Slark. He actually uses Dark Pack as well, so he's going to take a decent amount of damage. He might actually get blown up. The Torrent is there, gets solo killed by the Kunkka. How unfortunate to use the Dark Pack at that moment. So it looks like they're going to try and go onto the Ember Spirit as well, but it looks like the Kunkka
is just running in.
He's just running in.
Yeah.
He actually gets Inkswell on him as well, so he should be controlled up for a little bit. He's taking next to nothing damage.
Yeah.
And the Soulbind is there.
Double
X, boys. Here we come, and here comes the Torrent, not connecting on any of them because they don't hit it twice to bring them back. And looks like the Ogre should go down. One more hit should be enough. The Impetus is there, should be able to get it down. And Ember gets caught up by the Meepo, gets taken down almost immediately. That's a 4-0 change right now. And this is the timing we're talking about, because without the IO having those items, there's nothing really that they can do, and the relocate coming in. I wonder if they actually see it, and there's actually illusion rune on the Meepo. They see him, and this IO is going to be in a world of trouble. He's going to get taken down, and this should be a T2 as well as another.
And he was focusing the illusion, he thought that was low. That's sad.
So regen rune being picked up by the Grimstroke right now. The corner! Okay.
That was close. But I mean, Ench finished her pipe, now she's literally not going to die. Literally. Maybe the unkillable award helps her pretty.
Yeah, the unkillable award is looking quite good for this right now. But right now, I think if they can try to go for Roshan, if they do manage to get it on the Meepo, it's going to be huge. He has the blink as well, another 2,400 gold to boot.
Kunkka, I think he almost has his BKB as well.
The Radiance is off, he turns it back on, and now he might actually run into
The ward though, the ward is so
ward
good.
is there, here comes the board once again, going into the Stark. He does have the Dark Pack this time. The Meepo should be around to capture most of them, but looks like they don't really want to commit.
Oh.
Does he get the net? Oh,
Almost.
almost getting it onto the Ember Spirit. Just playing it a little bit safe there. Doesn't have
But
to
Enchantress behind, he might get a wraparound here.
Actually behind right now, once again going on to the Jakiro, this time blinking from the Meepo. Should be able to pick off this Jakiro. Meanwhile, the other fight is actually breaking out near the Shrine as well, so this should be a guaranteed kill on the Jakiro. Jakiro actually gets taken down, and meanwhile, so does this Stark. Stark actually gets taken down by the Leshrac. Leshrac dies in turn, so does the Grimstroke. And now the Kunkka trying his best to kind of just get the Ogre here. Does get the X off, so he comes back almost immediately. And looks like the Ogre managed to get the stun off, does get a decent amount of his Ignite as well as the Fire Blast. He's trying his best, but I don't think he's getting it from this.
Enchantress is here.
Like, that's
godlike.
Another 4-for-2 exchange here, and
meanwhile Meepo taking the Botrax.
yeah, I mean, Recreational Hazard is just running over them in this game, and just talking about that Meepo pick, I mean they should respect it.
I think other than not the Meepo pick, it was just his Enchantress pick that really.
Oh, they're actually going on to the Ember as well. They have one more net here as well. They have X. Can he get out? The Macropie into the Ice Path is there as well, and now the Ember Spirit trying his best. The Meepo actually falling quite low.
Doesn't have
He
ages.
is coming in, jumping in once again. The Meepo is solo. He actually gets taken down, overextending a little bit. They do manage to bring down the Ember Spirit though, and now once again the Enchantress Impetus actually comes in. The Jakiro actually gets taken down. The Agonims is actually done on the Eye. Look at the damage. The Enchantress is taken. Can they actually get out? Yes, they do. And the double silence, and now the Kunkka frontlining right now, trying to just control up on this Io. He actually managed to get the relocate out, and now the Kunkka getting controlled up. Start TPing in. Buyback coming in from the Jakiro. Ice Path is there fighting up, and meanwhile the ship is not coming in. Does not even use the torrent, and even the splitter is not going to be enough, and he's actually going to get caught out on the Leshrac as well. So a lot of much needed kills. 505 gold, 259 gold, a lot of gold going the way, but they do manage to only lose the range racks on the side of the bottom racks there.
Enchantress getting another kill now.
Yeah, Enchantress.
Oh no, this is the previous fight? Oh no, this is right now. Okay.
She's still there. She's trying to find the Jakiro. The vision is
She's
there.
fine,
The silence comes out. She's healing up right now. But the Stark is building up so many stacks right now. And looks like the Enchantress should be able to get out. The silence is there once again. Just trying to juke and jive, just fighting. And the IO just enabling her so much. And now Recreational might be throwing away the lead right now. And once again, Grimstroke getting caught out through the Ember Spirit as well. And suddenly, all 5 heroes going down, and 1041 gold going the way of the Stark for the kill on the Enchantress.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Like, that's just because they didn't get Aegis on Meepo. Like, if they focused on the Roshan before going high ground there, it would have helped them so much to the point that they would have not lost maybe anyone in that fight. They would have actually just won that fight.
Quite hard actually. So Meepo are actually quite close onto his Skadi as well. They need to be trying to make this Roshan play quite soon because they are still quite strong. They do have a 16k gold lead. It's hard to fight into the Kunkka, especially with that boat and torrent buff. But now with the Agonims picked up on the IO, it might become a lot more difficult. So they might actually be able to catch out the Stark here. But it looks like he's going to pounce to safety, and now the Meepo working onto the Roshan. So you can see the difference in team net worth right now. Almost 20,000 on the side of Recreational Hazard. 16k right now, and if they get this Aegis, they can just run down and try to end this game.
Yeah, I think it was 20,000 before when they were going high ground, just dropped to 16. But
so they do get the edges, the smoke almost immediately, and they're going to look for pick off right now.
Jakiro might be dead here if they decide to go there. Arcane Rune there though.
I mean, they should have vision in this bot lane to know where most of these heroes are, so that's why they're running almost immediately. They do see the stroke of fate. The Dark. Oh, he used Dark Pack. He used Dark Pack. Oh no. Oh no. And here comes the boat. The torrent is dead.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I mean,
super unfortunate. But
like, he should have known because he didn't have his Dark Pact on when he entered the jungle, so he should have known that there was vision there. I think that's a small misplay by him. He really needs to find these wards and know where the wards are on the map to be able to farm like that, because he knows he can get picked off so easily by all these heroes that he needs to play as safe as possible. So don't go into any area he thinks is warded, and he can always check for wards as well, just being a Slark. So.
yeah, and meanwhile, like Leshrac just taking out these shrines, and meanwhile the rest of his team is actually just taking out the other side as well. So it looks like they're going to let the Leshrac kind of try and push in this bot lane, maybe try and sneak in the.
Oh, they might get the Jakiro here, Kunkka.
They need to be careful right now. They do see the Ember Spirit going to use the side of face, and now Jakiro actually getting caught out. Where is the torrent? The Split Earth is there. Both was used, and now Kunkka almost out of mana. He can always extend TP himself back to base. And once again, Maelstrom this time picked up on the Ember Spirit as well. Just trying their best to kind of push these lanes in. They do have the Aegis on the Meepo. They have the Blink Dagger as well, but the Wild King just being a little bit annoying.
Yeah. But I mean, they don't have Macropire right now. which is kind of annoying. Oh, Leshrac, immediate force.
Leshrac, nice force stuff there, disengage. The
Enchantress, oh, the damage.
Oh, the X might be there again, but immediately the Ember Spirit is just going to run in.
Meepo going in.
Actually fighting in the bot lane, getting E-bladed up. And the Stark actually might get taken out. He does have that Aegis. Meepo is going to fall for the first time, but no Dark Pact onto this Stark, and now in the mid lane the Leshrac actually doing so much damage onto that T1 tower. The Meepo once again going in, the Enchantress doing so much work, the Torrent into the impetus damage, and once again here comes a lot of Atos, and now the Stark just running in trying to look for that next target right now. They do manage to give in down the T3 tower, and now the Ember Spirit manages to chain up this Kunkka going to BKB. Are they going to try and take the fight? Control coming out from that Meepo there, but they just wanted to get out right now because they got what they wanted. And meanwhile looking to capture this Slark here. He does not have that Dark Pact once, he does not have his ultimate, but he managed to get out, and now the rest of the team actually running in. Grimstroke and Zyra currently burning in the Macro Power, nice both there just to buy a little bit of time. They managed to control up the Ogre once again, but the Enchantress currently out of mana. Does manage one more right click, but it's not going to be enough. The relocate coming in from the IO once again. The Ogre just juking and jiving. They're actually Xing the Leshrac. Looks like they'll be able to make him just get out safe, but the Wisp is there, and the jump in from the Meepo once again, and this should be a very dead IO. He actually gets taken down. Ice Path onto 4, including the Meepos there and the Kunkka as well, but that is 3 heroes going down on the side of Portal Esports, and the Ember Spirit has buyback if he wants to use it, but right now Stark with that defense, they're just trying to be that frontliner for his team.
It's just so hard for Portal Esports to take a fight right now. The Enchantress is just so strong. It just does so much damage.
So once again, Boots are travel this time onto the Enchantress, so he's currently back in action once again, this time with full mana, full HP. Are they going to go for the mid lane of Rax? So is the question now once again. Stark running in onto the Enchantress, needs to be really careful. 2 more impetus hits. He actually got taken out and he's pinging, he's not happy. The Leshrac is like, what is happening? They managed to get this middle set of Rax as well, Meepo as well as the Kunkka. Everyone is going to work, and then once again just going immediately to the top lane as well. This Enchantress is just, and GG is getting called by Portal Esports this time, and looks like we are going to go into a game number 3, and that Meepo pick just dominated the game. We saw that Meeblade being picked up, and what a performance coming out from Portal Esports in game number 2. It was like, the sun and the moon. Recreational hazard. So it's like the sun and moon in terms of, both the games right now. So first game we saw Portal Esports dominating. There was a few moments where we saw Recreational hazard almost coming back, but in this game it was like right from the start to the end it was Recreational hazard all the way.
Yeah. So guys, we'll be back soon. We're just going to take a short break and we'll be back for the post-match interview. Hello and welcome back, guys. So we're here for the analysis of the match. Like you said, the Meepo was a big factor in that game, but I think it was just Enchantress. I think
Enchantress just kind of gave them all the space.
It was just that pick was just so good that won them the lanes. I think winning the lanes in that game was so important, and that Slark pick really didn't feel that impactful. I don't really like that Slark pick, honestly. Like maybe they thought that he could do okay against the Kunkka, but we saw he did okay, but it wasn't enough because he kept solo killing the Slark in the game on the Kunkka. So I think it was just a bad draft, one thing from Portal Esports. Enchantress, not banning the Enchantress or not picking him up for yourself was just a big deal in that game, and just showing how strong the hero is in this patch right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think initially when the Enchantress did dominate that lane, he managed to get that T1 tower, but he was still within kill threshold for that Ember Spirit, and the Ember Spirit did manage to get a decent amount of gold off that off the Enchantress skill. the kill. But then, picking up that early Midas into power treads, into that extra additional bracer, into the Ogre Club is just so much HP, and then even getting the Hood of Defiance as well on top of that, it just makes him so unkillable, and we saw that in the game as well.
What they did as soon as Ember killed her was that she just went to the other lane, that Ember's not in, and immediately killed the Ember Spirit top, which is what they should have done before she died, but like they immediately corrected what they're supposed to do. They were like, okay, even though I'm pretty strong on the map right now, I can't really face the Ember Spirit, goes to the other lane, takes the tower. Like Enchantress, what you want to do with Enchantress is get all the T1 towers, secure map control, and apply pressure with impetus, and then go with your team.
Yeah, we saw usually in most of these games, Ogre is this big, bad, tanky, in your face type of support. But in this game, we actually just saw, Enchantress enchants him, hits him 4 times with the impetus, and he's gone.
Yeah, it's very hard to play against that.
Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to play against that, and even the Slark, the Kunkka, even after missing so, like he missed the entire completely first creep wave. I mean, he even got the range creep denied by the Slark. So the Slark seemed to be having a decent time, but he's just one of those heroes. He takes too much time to kind of get into on the action. And when you have the Meepo, you have the Kunkka, and even with all that, the Kunkka managed to solo kill him once and then pick up a Radiance.
Twice, right? Like,
twice, and then managed to pick up that Radiance 16 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, and with the double bracer and the BKB, I mean, there's no way they're actually going to do that.
Yeah, that was just way too good of a start for the Kunkka, even though he did mess up the lane a little bit, but it's just the matchup is just so good. Like you can't do anything against the Kunkka, and I think like Ember Spirit could have played better. Yeah, I mean Ember Spirit would have done better against the Kunkka, in my opinion. That lane. Go with the Slark on top, but Slark is also he's like so bad against Enchantress. That's why they had to put him mid, and like you can't really do anything as Slark against Enchantress. Like it's almost a win when you pick up an Enchantress against a Slark, and that's why I was so confused as to that pick when they picked it in the last pick. So. Unfortunately, that was just a bad draft, I think. Yeah, so we'll just chalk it up to that for that moment. So that is going to be game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away for too long because we do have game 3 coming up in a very, very short while. So till then, stay tuned. We'll be back with more Dota 2 action.
Sonic Boom!
Hello and welcome back everyone to the in-game Esports South Asia Cup online powered by Intel. I'm your Castle Nightblade and with me is Darkro and we're into a game 3.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting game 3 because right now the Enchantress and the Meepo threat is always there. So which, I mean, do you just want to remove both of them from the start of the draft itself and try to deal with a different thing, or just try to just play to the confidence that you already have, maybe even pick up the Timbersaw or some sort of Meepo counter early into the game. There's so many options that they can actually go through. But anyway, the winner of this will be going on to play the grand finals here at the South Asia Cup organized by In-Game Esports, obviously powered by Intel as well. So as you can see, the winner will be taking on Global Esports tomorrow in a best of 5 grand finals. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game to see how it kind of works out, because we never actually got to see Global Esports take on any of these teams other than maybe
My Revenge.
My Revenge, yes, exactly. So we'll wait and see how they actually face up against each other. But right now, Portal Esports and Recreational Hazard seem to be on a really good level of Dota right now. They're playing very high level Dota. Their understanding of the game, you can see it coming through, like even just knowing when to switch the Enchantress and the Meepos and the Meepo in the top lane to play against the Ember Spirit, and the Enchantress pressure the lanes in the bottom lane as well. So there are a lot of really great heads up plays being made by both the teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out. And with that, we do have the tournament MVP awards by Intel. Obviously, we have the Intel NUC, also known as the Hades Canyon, with the Intel Core i7 8th Gen processor chip, as well as the Radeon RX Vega, which is both compressed into one chip. So we have the graphics card as well as the processor card, both in the same chip to give you that extremely high performance. And as you can see, it has so many ports right now: the Thunderbolt, the HDMI 2.0, 2.0A, then you have all your audio jacks, your headphone jacks, as well as many USBs, and even having that virtual reality option, just to have this very... And the best part about all of this, it's all built into this small form factor PC which you can carry with you anywhere.
Yeah, you can take it anywhere you want, plug it anywhere you want, and especially like this VR thing that's recently come out. Usually you can't really do it on low-end PCs, and this is pretty perfect for that. Especially if you want to use VR at some place you really like, you just take the VR headset and you go and use it. It's very efficient thing to use if you're heading to VR. So if you really do like VR, I recommend you get it.
Yeah. So with that, we do have the tournament awards by HyperX. Once again, for all of you who are at home who haven't voted for your favorite player, please do head on over to In-Game Esports Facebook page and vote for your favorite player, because he will be the winner of this Gamer's Choice winner, will be receiving this HyperX Cloud 2, which is an amazing headset, and then obviously the best support player, the best carry player, and the Unkillable award, which is now kind of looking in that Enchantress's favor actually. So it will be very interesting to see who actually picks up that award. And the tournament MVP, going to be walking away with both the Intel NUC as well as the HyperX Cloud 2 headset.
Yeah. And straight away into the draft, here we go. Portal Esports picking up Skywrath Mage. Yeah, that's a good pick. Instead of banning it this time, they picked it up.
Yeah, Skyrath is going to be a very interesting hero in the sense that where he's actually going to play. He's always good in the lane. And we actually see Recreational Hazard picking up the Winter Wyvern. So we actually saw it getting banned out quite often in the previous games. It was actually in the first 3 phases itself, it was banned out. So this time we see the Lina, the Kunkka and the Leshrac being banned out. So they don't want to deal with that run in your face, have a lot of control type of draft, just switching things up a little bit. The Meepo is still available, so maybe they might ban it out in the second phase, we don't know. Portal Esports will probably be looking to pick that up once again because it seems to be working for them really well.
Recreational Hazard. Right?
Yeah, sorry, Recreational Hazard.
And they banned the Enchantress this time in the start because Portal Esports obviously had first pick and they didn't want to give it away. And I think the Skyrath Mage was a block pick more or less, I feel like, more than anything. And I don't know if that's going to go into the draft really well. We'll see how it actually affects them because, sometimes in these games, when it goes to a best of 3, you kind of mess up the draft because you really don't know what to ban and pick because you're like, oh, these guys are really good at Skyrath Mage, they're good at their Meepo, like what do we ban, what do we pick, how do we counter them? So then they're like, okay, we're going to pick a Shaker here to maybe counter the Meepo somewhat and pick up the Skyrath Mage so they don't pick it up. And then Recreation has to counter it with Winter Wyvern, which is always just a decent hero, and this Tiny pick, which is so strong.
Yeah, the Tiny is always a very nice pick. You can play it in the mid lane. It's actually very good against most of these heroes, especially in the lane as well. And even the position 4 is just one of those, run at you, just throw you out of position. These displacement heroes are always so very, very, very nice to have in most of these games because they create an opportunity for you to get a kill where you usually wouldn't.
Yeah.
So in the case where, Magnus Cure or the toss back, even Pudge Hook, just making sure, like, positioning is a huge factor in Dota, and if you don't position yourself properly, you can actually lose team fights, especially if you get if Meepo is the problem and you're the Earthshaker to deal with it and the Earthshaker gets hooked out of position and gets controlled and bursted down before they can actually do anything. And then suddenly, that team fight is actually won. So, those things, those small factors are going to play a huge part. But we could also see a play where the Tiny blinks in and tosses the Earthshaker into all 4 of the heroes and gets echo slammed and then just get wiped. But then those are all, that's the beauty of Dota. Anything can happen, and that's why, they do say everything can work, but end of the day, you need to know exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are inside of a team and how well you play with each other with that synergy in that team as well.
I really like this Naga ban here coming from Recreational Hazard, making sure not to give it to them because they did pick up the Shaker as well. You do have a Wyvern, which is good against a Naga, but you still don't want to give them something they're comfortable with. And we see Portal Esports banning out the Meepo, just not letting them have it. 3 heroes from last game being banned out, so Recreational Hazard do have to play a different style of Dota this game, or they could pick similar heroes, but you can't really pick Enchantress other than Enchantress, right?
Given the performance on that last Enchantress game, I think it was definitely due for a ban.
And we see Wraith King being picked up. I think that's the hero they really like.
Yeah, they do like, they seem to like having just one of those heroes who can absorb a lot of spells, especially like the Wraith King, the Bristleback, we saw it in the first game. Just to absorb a lot of these spells coming out from most of these heroes, try to get rid of all those control that Portal Esports usually do have. But in this case, it's going to be quite difficult. It'll be very interesting to see because it always comes down to how well the Wraith King kind of lanes. In the last few games, we saw the Ogre, Leshrac combination. The Ogre is still available if they want it. But, this time they don't have that, set up with the Ogre stun into the Leshrac stun into whatever follow-up damage because, that seemed to really work for Portal Esports in that first game because having that much of CC, that much of crowd control always, gives you a huge impact in the game, especially during that laning phase. And it's not easy for Wraith King to deal with because he's not the fastest hero. And sure, Wraith 5 Blast is there, but it's not going to do too much for you.
Yeah, the CC is always a big factor because he doesn't get BKB early. He gets the Radiance and the Midas, so he doesn't get BKB super early, and you can always kite him in the early team fights and just make him not that useful in the fight, especially with a Shaker and a Skyrath Mage, even an Ogre now that they picked up. It might show that the Skyrath Mage is a core, or maybe the Shaker is a core. You really don't want the Ogre to be a core most of the time. Shaker core it's not that good this game in my opinion. I just think that it gets countered too hard by Visage too.
You wanted a hero that had the same tempo as Meepo, so Visage does bring it actually a little bit faster because once he gets level 6, he actually puts a lot of pressure. And he's like one of those heroes you actually very difficult to bring down because he has the Gravekeeper's Cloak, and now even the birds actually have the Gravekeeper's Cloak as well. So there's a lot of tower pushing ability. You have the Tiny, you have the Wraith King for frontline. There's so much you can do. But we actually see the Morphling being picked up by Portal Esports, so that's going to be very interesting to see how they utilize that Morphling in their draft. So you'll probably see a Morphling Morphling into a Visage pick here. So I mean, Morphling versus Visage, it could be one of those matchups.
I mean, it's hard for
I mean, they
Morphling
could
in that
also
lane.
put them. They could also put the Skyrath in the mid lane as well. But the moment the Visage hits level 6, the Skyrath can actually die multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling anyway is going to have trouble, I think, unless he's safe lane if he goes mid. So you don't really want to send a Morphling mid unless you have a plan around it. Maybe you send the Shaker mid all the time to keep messing with the Visage or messing with Tiny or whoever goes mid. But this Morphling, it seems good in the late game. It's really good against the Wraith King. It's really good against Tiny late game. You know, it's really good against Wyvern. You can always burst him, but it's not good against Visage because of just the Gravekeeper's Glow is good. But Morphling does have a lot of good heroes to steal. Like Tiny is one of the better heroes to steal just because of the toss and the avalanche. Visage is okay. It's not amazing, but you can slow him and then morph back into Morph and start hitting them really hard. So
And you could always get that free Scardy with the Winter Wyvern, or turning into Winter Wyvern as well. Just
Arctic
use your
Burn, yeah.
Arctic Burn and then just start right clicking.
so he has decent heroes to steal, but what's important is how Visage transitions into the mid game here with the Tiny. If they're both having a good game, Portal Esports look really defeated right now because the Tiny can destroy Skyrath Mage, he can destroy the Morphling, he can destroy the Shaker. And maybe not the Shaker as much, but mostly the Skyrath Mage and Morphling. If the Tiny does get a blink early, can easily kill off the Morphling, easily kill off the Skyrath Mage, transition that into towers, and Visage can destroy towers very quickly. So right now, draft is in favor of Recreational Hazard, and I like the Tidehunter ban as well. So very good ban if they are, if the Skyrath Mage is a core. Just really stops Recreational Hazard from pushing in so hard because a good Ravage into good CC from Ogre and Shaker can always take down a Visage because after you remove the stacks, the cloak stacks, he's pretty squishy. And locking down those birds is also very important.
Yeah, definitely. I think the birds also give you that aspect of control as well, just to manage most of these heroes. You could also send him just to kind of disrupt the fights as well, maybe put it on the Earthshaker, cancel his Blink Dagger, anything like that, or even, just maybe catching the Skyrath just before he casts Mystic Flare, one of those two. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities that can actually happen, but, sometimes, it just comes down to how they actually play. So, right now they're going to pick up the Vipers. The Viper is pretty decent. I mean, it does have that break, which is pretty nice against most of these heroes. It stops the 300%.
Very good against Visage.
Yeah, it's good against Visage. It also removes that 300% crit that the Wraith King would give you. Gives you a lot of kite ability. It's a very survivable hero. Getting that Greaves into Atos makes you quite tanky, and he's a very fast farming hero. Especially with once he gets like 2 levels in his nether. What is it? The second skill. I can't remember what it was called. Nether Toxin, yeah. So once he gets 2 levels in that, he can actually farm, just push out the wave really fast. Because Visage doesn't really push out waves really fast until he hits level 6. Until then, he has to just kind of casually right click. So the Viper might just be able to get in and out and just try to out farm or outscale the Visage. And then once he gets that Atos, he can actually put a decent amount of pressure. But it's going to be very interesting.
I mean, Portal Esports draft is basically get Scepter on Morphling and use it on the Shaker and just get really strong. And you can also use it on Viper as well because Viper is just decent this game. And right now, the Scepter Morphling looks really good because of this Wind Ranger pick. Because Wind Ranger, I mean, the True Strike always goes through the Wind Run, and the burst damage also kills her very fast by Morphling. So if he goes Scepter E-Blade and he gets it in decent timing, it looks really good for Portal Esports. But I'm not sure how they're going to lane this Wind Ranger. Maybe it's going to be a mid-ranger, but it could be a 4-ranger as well. Like Tiny and Wind Ranger can go either way.
I mean, the flexibility inside of Recreational Hazard's picks right now is actually quite insane. I mean, like you can put the Tiny wherever you want, you can put the Wind Ranger wherever you want, you can put the Visage wherever you want.
Yeah, you can support Visage as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you can do so many things with the draft, but I think winning in terms of winning the lane against the Morphling, you want the Tiny to either be 4 or 3. For sure in that lane. You don't want him to, you want to have some kill potential in that lane, and you don't want him to, like especially level 1 morph now, it's just so bad that if you go on the Morphling and you get a toss on him, he's dead. Whatever happens, he's just dead. So that Tiny really needs to be against the Morphling, whatever they plan on doing. And this Visage, I feel like if he doesn't get the levels, if he's not mid, it's going to be a little hard for him this game.
Yeah, that definitely. I think the Visage needs those levels. I think if they want to play in the tempo that they've been playing all this time, they need to send that Visage into the mid lane, which means the Viper is probably going to be the best bet, and the Wind Ranger is going to be this offlane hero, and then you'll have this...
Or 4.
Yeah, it could be 4 as well. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see. It's not the Leshrac that they usually play with, and that hero, this has such a huge impact in the game, even as a position 4, but Wind Ranger, you land your shackle shots. If you don't connect it, then that's just like, it's just like a second, and then your power shot, what is that going to do? I mean, like, sure, okay, you can snipe the Morphling from really far away, maybe get a toss and avalanche, but that for that you'll be really coordinated, and probably these players do have that,
Coordination.
the coordination for that. But right now, looking at things, I feel like Recreational Hazard might be up to an upset right now.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I think this Wraith King looks like he's going to have a decent lane as well. So if he does have a decent lane and he does get his Radiance at a decent time, then it might be good for them. But right now, the Viper looks like a really big issue for Recreational Hazard. The Visage is nice and all, but I don't think it's enough, because this Viper is just really good against the Visage and deals with everything he does. It's just really nice in this lineup. I think the Viper pick is really genius. Good pick.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it, but it will come down to how they do in the lane, obviously, and with how well they can pick up their items and everything like that. And looks like the Tiny is actually just running into the Earthshaker right now in the bottom lane, very interestingly enough. Just seeing what the Earthshaker is up to, so it looks like they do know that there's a block happening, and they probably do know that most of the majority of the heroes on the side of Portal Esports are in this top area. Should have been scouted out by the Visage, but he's immediately just going to back off. He does not want to even stay in the vicinity, because if he gets caught, he might have a very difficult time. And with that, we actually see the Wraith King just running to the top lane right now, and the Visage is going to sit mid, and while the Wind Ranger, Tiny, as well as the Wyvern sit in the bot lane. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be 2 for 2 once again. So we see the Ogre moving in quite aggressively here. We see the Winter Wyvern as well as the Wraith King just settling up in the top lane. We have the Wind Ranger and the Tiny in the mid lane.
It is going to be a position for Tiny.
Yeah, so it looks like early into the game, he actually wants to try and put a decent amount of pressure onto this Viper, which is going to be very interesting. So we probably might see him getting tossed back into the tower and taking a decent amount of damage.
But with this Crown and Fairy Fire, he's actually pretty tanky. Like,
yeah, 720 HP, so already Grave Creepers.
Oh, he might be in trouble now.
The chill already been there, and suddenly just trying to get the toss back into the tower there. Oh, this is actually going to take so much damage. He does not have the regen for it. One more right click, and there comes the first blood. The tower claiming it, but what a play coming out from Recreational Hazards there.
Yeah, getting that kill on the Visage is a big deal. On the Viper is a big deal, because Viper already, if he gets behind in a lane, it's very hard to come back. And when Visage gets more levels than him, it might be an issue.
Meanwhile, Tiny now once again going to go on to the Skywrath here. Does have a toss, immediately tossing all the way back into the Wraith King. Going to right click a few more times, one more Arctic Burn, should be able to take him out. One more right click, and Hawkeye is going to be happy with that kill. And this Tiny, already in the first 1 minute of this game, has had such a huge impact onto this game. And once again, toss back onto the Ogre, but he's a much tankier target, and they don't have Arctic Burn for this, so they need to kind of...
He wanted to toss the Morph there, but he was not close enough. It just selected the Ogre instead. But it's fine. This lane is just so strong. The Skywrath mage doesn't do much. Like, they picked it to counter pick this Recreational Hazard, but right now it's just not that good. Like, you can see Viper taking a little bit of harass. You can see the Visage has got his basey, so that's really strong on him. He really likes getting these early damage items, because he is pretty low on damage early in the game.
Very nice play from the Visage there. I don't know if you spotted it out, but he actually dropped his basey to reduce that 9 damage, so he could get the tower.
Oh, and another kill here.
Yeah, so the toss is there. Ogre just kind of the pathing kind of messing up with him. There is only level 1 concussive shot right now on the Skywrath. So he's not actually dealing too much harass right now, because he does not have that level in Arcane Bolt.
Yeah. And it's just hard. You can't really stay in this lane too much. Like, whenever Winter Wyvern has Arctic Burn, they can always get a kill on one person if the Tiny has mana, because they have so much lockdown as well. So we see Tiny again going in. He's level 2
and a level 1. He does have a toss available.
He might toss into the Wraith King here, but
no, he should be fine. Okay, so looks like they're going to try and make the pull onto the Winter Wyvern here, but just stopping it, just getting a little bit of harass here onto the Ogre. Going to start right clicking him, using the Wraith Fire Blast as well, and there's a crit for 195 damage. But the Ogre, being as beefy and tanky as he is, then this kind of shrugs it off. Yeah. And here comes the Fire Blast onto the Winter Wyvern. Once again, concussive shot coming in from the Skywrath, finally hitting level 2, has that level in that Arcane Bolt now if he wants to use it. And now Wraith King, and then just posturing quite aggressively right now. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Doesn't have too much mana, just zoning enough so they can get the pull off right now. And Morphling is also running in, and the Arctic Burn once again is there. The Mango is popped, and so much damage being taken here by the Ogre here. He needs to pop, and he needs to try and run. The toss is there as well. They do manage to bring down the kill, but they get the return kill onto the Wyvern as well. So that's worth it, because since the Morphling got the kill on that as well. But in the sense that they do manage to get the pull, as they actually stop the pull as well. So that's kind of a small win for Portal Esports. But right now the Visage, look at the damage onto the Viper, and he has immediately forced to use that salve right now, and that first blood onto the Viper really cost him right now. So
he did catch up, right? He's just a Viper against a Visage anyway. He's going to do okay in this matchup, because he's already top CS even after that kill. It's whatever, he's okay. But the Visage is happy with that kill, because he got the first wave. Getting the first wave early against this Viper is just really good, because you really want that one item at the start of the game, the Basilius.
Yeah. So Tiny picking up Invis rune right now. It'll be interesting to see where he wants to go. So even the clarity being popped up right now, and looks like they want to make an aggressive move onto the Wind Ranger here right now. Needs to be careful. Pops the Wind Run. Nice shackle shot there with the power shot, but looks like the Earthshaker just taking a decent amount of damage, getting aggressive. But now the Tiny is there, does have level 2, so one more power shot should be ready very soon. Right clicking, once again, here comes the Avalanche, toss all the way back to the Wind Ranger, one more right click should be enough. Here comes the Enchant Totem, but it's not going to be enough. And once again, this Tiny just doing a really good job in his rotations here as a position 4. He's impacted the map quite hard in this 4 minutes right now.
Yeah, it's looking really good, and you know, Shaker is really good against this lane. He's just happy because even if Wind Ranger tries to contest him, he just walks up to her and uses the Enchant Totem, and Wind Run doesn't really do anything. You can always trade pretty well, but with that one rotation, it helps Wind Ranger get that kill, which helps him a lot more in this lane.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's slowing down the pace that this Earthshaker can play as well, because he's a core right now and he has a huge part to play. And now once again you can see the Earthshaker trying to make a go onto the Wind Ranger already juking all the way back, but the Fissure just very well. One more stun, he actually gets it, and he gets a solo kill onto the Wind Ranger. 436 gold, and that is what you're talking about, just not caring about that Wind Run. And
but Tiny is gonna get the runes here. That's really good.
yeah, he has Arcane Rune as well, so he might be able to dish out some damage here. He does have that bottle, so he bottled a few things up. And now the Tiny, is he going to, the Earthshaker, is he going to decide to fight the Tiny?
Toss,
Does have another toss ready. He has an Arcane Rune as well. He needs another few, at least 10 seconds. He's going to get blocked off by the Fissure there, and he's going to just immediately back off. He does have that shine in the bot lane, so the Earthshaker is going to head back into the lane. And now with this Arcane Rune, looks like Tiny wants to rotate into the mid lane. Once again, the Viper might be in a little bit of trouble. We see the Tiny just running in, does have those birds. Once again, here comes the stun. The toss all the way back into the Visage here, does have that slow. Uses the Gravekeeper's Cloak once again, uses the Soul Assumption as well as the Grave Chill, but it's not going to be enough to bring the Viper down because he's super tanky right now.
And you can't walk into the Nether Toxin, that's the biggest deal, because he wants to use Medallion and walk into Nether Toxin, walk towards the hero and start hitting him, and one of these birds died as well. So he's not really happy about that. I really think he shouldn't let his birds die.
Yeah, 120 gold is nothing to laugh at.
No, no, it's not the gold, it's more like the fact that
you lose a lot of DPS.
You lose a lot of DPS because he has Medallion now and he wants to kill this Viper, but he just can't because he doesn't have the 2 birds, and he used the stun early as well. And it was just, Tiny was a decent rotation, but he just at the wrong time. The Visage wasn't ready for that. And Viper is really susceptible to this minus armor and damage, but if you don't kill him in the time needed, he will probably kill everyone in this team, because
they might actually get the stun. They get the stun off on the bird. If they kill this bird, he does not have it for another 60 seconds. One more right click. Oh, that's another 100 gold, and he does not have the birds for another 45 seconds. It's so worth it. That's like a hero kill at this point.
Oh, Tiny.
Toss onto the side at this time, and the Winter Wyvern is there with the Arctic Burn. Should be a free kill, and there we have Tiny once again, just doing a really great job. And this is a Tiny who just hit level 3, by the way. Just running around, doing so much on the map for most of these heroes. But right now, Viper sitting comfortably with 58 last hits, then we have the Morphling at 39, then we have the Visage at 36.
Wraith King though, yikes, that's slow.
Yeah, Wraith King only having 19 last hits, just getting everything denied by the Morphling, currently 40 to 14.
Yeah, Morphling doing a good job there, just outplaying the Wraith King by last hitting, I guess. Wraith King needs a lot more farm than this. This is like it's like he's shut down in the lane, even though that's such a good lane with so many kills.
Oh, Acheka Menzar uses Echo Slam, and he's not able to get the stun off. Oh, I don't think he'll be able to bring down this Tiny. Tiny actually gets the kill. One more right click, actually one more spell would have been enough, and now the Skywrath Myth actually might go down to this Wind Ranger here. Should have the Wind Run is there as well. One more power shot to the Shackle is there, but oh, the pop of the wand. Is the Conqueror Shop going to be enough? No, it is not, and that is going to be the Skywrath just barely outplaying them with that the 10 magic wand charges there.
Yeah, I mean Tiny, really good. The good timing for Avalanche. While he was using Enchant Totem, just using Avalanche there, making sure he doesn't basically kill him,
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have probably died there. But good rotations killing the Shaker. Shaker kind of shut down. He was okay after getting the kill onto Wind Ranger, but then keeping him, he's pretty shut down now. He can't really walk up.
Nice to stun into the combination play here, coming from the Winter Wyvern. Once again, here comes the Arctic Burn, but immediately popping the wand right now. Does not have the reincarnation. The Wraith King needs to be so careful right now, and now suddenly the Morphling just beating into this Winter Wyvern, going to get hit by concussive shot as well, stunning up the Ogre. But I don't think the Winter Wyvern will be able to get out, and no, he is not immediately going to get taken down there, and just overestimating the damage there a little bit.
No, I think they just not only overestimating the damage, they need to understand that they need to play around this Tiny.
So Atos is actually done on the Viper as well.
Yeah,
so-
Viper is that hero is just good in this game, I think, against most of the heroes. Even the Visage can't really contest him in the lane, so he's gonna get farm. Can't do anything about that. What they have to do is like probably play around this Tiny as much as they can. Like right now, Tiny's playing against the Shaker. They're probably a little bit scared of the Shaker, but this Wraith King
Shaka comes out. Here comes the power shot as well. Disconnect. And the Earthshaker right now just struggling a little bit. I think those rotations from Tiny really paying off for the win range as well, just getting those few kills. And now, Earthshaker is not in the spot that he usually would be. Another Viper actually coming in. Here comes the Fissure coming in from the win range. They're going to get Atos up as well. Here comes the ultimate from the Viper as well. I don't think she should be able to get away from this nice shackle onto both of them. And looks like she's actually going to be able to walk out quite well. And has a salve as well to just heal back up. And that's a rotation coming in from the Viper that just does not pay any dividends at all.
Yeah, I felt like they should have gotten that.
Oh, meanwhile, Winter Wyvern actually running into the Viper here. Here comes the Atos once again. Arctic Burn going to be activated just so he can try and fly over this high ground right there. So Viper not being able to spot out the Winter Wyvern. And meanwhile, in another lane, the Tiny actually gets the kill onto the Earthshaker. So once again, the rotations from this Tiny is just insane.
Mid lane.
And now mid lane, once again, the Skyra is actually falling so low. Medallion is there. A few more right clicks from the Birds is going to be able to get that kill for the Visage. They're just overextending, like we said. And Skyra needs to play really safe in this lane. I don't think he can actually come up for CS because the Visage is just going to run at you.
Yeah, Visage is just strong against it. Like, Skyrath made... Oh, Tiny actually dies to the Ogre there. Giving away 400 gold.
So that's 408 gold for Tiny. That's like level 4 right now.
Yeah.
So that just goes to a testament how many kills he's taken part in.
But he does have the book now, so he's going to be 6 soon.
Yeah, so currently the Tiny is actually 4-1-4 and he's doing quite a really good job just trying to enable his cores here and just buy time for them to get the items that they need. But right now the Wraith King is just suffering so much against this Morphling because the Morphling is just denying everything. 66 last hits to 18 denies at 10 minutes and 42 seconds into the game. That is insane.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, even though the lane went pretty poorly, he's getting the CS, which kind of matters a lot more than the kills in the early game. And giving this Morphling a decent start is what might be the downfall of Recreational Hazard, because this Morphling has a decent game if he gets the items he needs, especially against this Wraith King that can't really contest this Morphling at any point in the game. Like literally all points of the game.
Oh, meanwhile they're actually trying to make a go onto the Wraith King here. He does have mana for Reincarnation. Once again, rotation coming in from the Winter Wyvern should be able to bring down this Wraith King, who does not have that level in Reincarnation. So he just skilled it, I believe. And now they're trying to bring down the Viper here. The focus fire is there. Managed to bring down the Wind Ranger in a little bit of trouble. The heal comes out and Tiny pauses the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I don't know if they do have the magic damage. They do have the Skyrath available. Does not have level 6 right now. So the Wind Ranger might still go down because the Morphling does have another Adaptive Strike coming up in a little bit. But that's going to be a decent amount of gold. If they do get the Wraith King as well as the Wind Ranger, it's going to be a huge loss for the side of Recreational Hazard. It's going to be a huge win for Portal Esports because these kills will be funneled into the Morphling there. And once, like you said, just picking up those items, getting that Aghanim Scepter and whatever Yasha, or if he wants, depending on what he wants to go into this game. The Adaptive Strike actually being used, and they actually do manage to bring down the Ogre as well. But nicely morphing in. That morphing actually looks so funny. I'm so sorry. But the power shot to finish off the Wind Ranger. So that's actually so cool. Look at that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of old. But...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it had the green color
it's
thing.
It's like a crystal Wind Ranger skin,
Oh, and the Morphling.
Oh, Morphling now once again might be in a little bit of trouble, but so many misses. What? Because of Wind Ranger.
Yeah. Can't really go kill him. But I mean, getting the Viper kill there was good. It really stops. Viper dying is kind of annoying. You don't want to die as Viper because you want to always farm with the Nether Toxin.
So once again, trying to make a move onto the Morphling right now. The Skyrath is available, and here comes the Viper. They need to try and stop him, but there comes the Silence. Nice Winter's Curse there onto the Skyrath mage. Should be able to take him down, and what beautiful, beautiful Winter's Curse coming out.
Good bait.
Yeah, that's really good bait. And the Visage gets out scot-free, and they actually manage to get another kill onto the Tiny as well. I mean, onto the Skyrath.
Oh,
and now
get the Viper.
Bird, and the Viper might actually get taken down. The other bird comes in as well. The Avalanche is there, and now the Morphling might be in a little bit of trouble. The double damage on the Tiny is there. Punching up onto this Morphling, getting control. The Arctic Burn taking away so much damage.
Tiny.
The Tiny positions so well, but he gets stunned up for years. He does have another toss as well as another mango. Can he reach the Morphling right now? I don't think so. He does actually manage to get him. The toss is there, and a double kill for the side of Recreational Hazard, and this Visage is out of control. And now meanwhile in the mid lane they're actually trying to bring down this the Windrunner, and they managed to do so with the Silence as well as the Mystic Flare.
Killing off that Morphling was a big deal. This Viper tank again, that's really bad for him. He does not want to be in this position. I don't know why he played so aggressive there. They had vision as well, and he still played like that.
I mean, he got quite greedy for the pearl.
Yeah, he did.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, the Shaker has been farming. He actually does have an item being delivered to him right about now. So we'll wait and see what that is. He has been farming in this bot lane for quite a while because there were so many rotations in the top lane. And looks like he's getting...
Just a wand, I guess.
Just the one? Yeah, it looks like.
It's not yeah, just a wand.
Yeah, it looks like it's just the one for right now. So he's
and
actually quite...
right.
So he's still quite far away from that blink dagger. So he'll be sitting and just trying to farm as much as possible for a while. So it's going to be interesting, and now he does have the Bloodlust as well, so he'll be able to push down these towers quite well. They do have the Skyrath as well as the Ogre sitting behind, and meanwhile, the Viper once again going down to the Visage on a mega kill streak right now. And this Viper is supposed to be the counter to Visage right now, but...
I mean, he's a counter with the team, right? You want to remove... solo Visage will obviously kill you with the medallion. The minus armor just counters him.
This Visage has a Helm of the Dominator, he has a medallion, he has a Vlad's. He's super tanky, and it's going to be so difficult to deal with, and he's now just going to run into the Ogre here. He might actually get the kill, but once again we see the power shot onto the Earthshaker, just getting kited around. The Echo Slam is there, the silence as well. They do manage to bring down the Wind Ranger, and now there's really nothing for the Wyvern to kind of counter the Skyrath. Look at his positioning right now. The Winter's Curse is there as well. The Skyrath is doing a really good job of just kind of controlling where he's positioning, so they can't actually get the kill off. And now Visage is there. Once again, here comes the Viper with the Atos trying to go onto the Viper here. Should have another fissure very soon, and here comes the second skill coming out from Visage. The control is there. The Viper might still go down. The last Soul Assumption should be enough, and he does get taken down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looks like Tiny actually gets taken down by the Skyrath, and now the Visage actually getting controlled up, but he's so fast with this Grave Chill as well, and now he's just running and the Ogre is still chasing him. Does he have anything else to try and control? He has another Fire Blast and 2 into multicast. The Wind Ranger is there. Nice Shackle Shot. The Morphling comes in. One more right click should be enough, but no, with the Grave Keeper's Cloak being activated, now the Morphling needs to be really careful. He does not have any more mana. Another 2 into multicast coming out from the Ogre, and here comes the rotation in from that Skyrath Mage, slowing down the Wind Runner. Does he have enough mana for another stun? He does pop the one. Do they want to dive this? Does not look like they do, because Morphling does not have too much mana to kind of assist. If he had a little bit more mana, he could have done, but right now, meanwhile, Blinking from the Tiny actually combos up on the Morphling. The Morphling should be able to waveform out. Yes, he is managing to get that morph off as well, and nice support play coming in from the Visage, but not being enough to kind of bring down this Morphling. And now running into the Red King here, but he's still morphing up really high.
And Visage gets another kill.
Visage actually gets another kill, this time onto the Skyrath Mage and also onto the Ogre Magi, so that's another double kill going the way of the Visage here, and he's just snowballing out of control right now.
Yeah, I think this Viper, he is good against Visage, right? But he cannot solo the Visage. Especially when he has so many items on him. He has the Helm, he has the Medallion, he has the Vlads. That makes him so much stronger than just a Viper with Atos.
And now he has the Hood of Defiance as well, so he's almost done with his pipe as well on this.
It's still going to be a little bit hard to go high ground. Unless they get like a pick off.
So meanwhile, Cheka getting Winter's Curse by the Winter Wyvern, and he's just going to walk away, and it's going to be a very sad Cheka.
Yeah.
So right now, things not looking too great for the side of Portal Esports, and Recreational Hazard just kind of running over them at the moment. 6k gold lead, has so much items, and the Blink Dagger also being done on this Tiny, who has done a great job in this game right now, just to enable his cause, especially helping the Visage kind of win his lane by getting that first blood onto the Viper as well. So right now they're struggling a little bit. The Wind Ranger also doing quite well, should be close to his Maelstrom if he wants to pick that up. So yes, it looks like it should be on the courier quite soon. And here comes the power shot once again, Blink it from the Tiny, toss is there, and and the Visage is now currently godlike.
He was hiding in the, he's trying to play as safe as possible. He's like in the trees, deep in the trees, and then the birds just run over him and say, there's a Skyrath here.
Yeah, so meanwhile in the top lane, once again, Wind Ranger, actually TP is there. They're trying to set up for the Morphling, because Morphling is probably the strongest hero that they have right now, but immediately into Roshan, go Recreational Hazard, and once again, like I said, we talked about the tempo that the Meepo brings, but the Visage brings an even faster tempo, and this Aegis on the Visage is going to be huge if they want to actually give it to him. I think it's probably going to be him, but looks like they want to contest once again. Blink out from the Tiny here. Looks like all three heroes once again from the side of Portal Esports are there to contest. The Earthshaker's Echo Slam is available, and looks like he does not want to go into that Blink Dagger. He wants to go immediately into that Aghanim Scepter. Currently about 3,200 gold away. But meanwhile, Fissure comes in, and now the Viper once again getting caught out. Does have the Echo Slam, gets stunned up, and here comes the Avalanche as well as the Toss, and the chain stuns are perfect, and the Earthshaker not going to be able to get anything off. side,
as
meanwhile,
well.
now the Red King already fighting up, and the Red King does have the reincarnation if he wants to use it. He's slowing down everyone. The Morphling beating into them, but here comes the Visage and the rest of the team, and here comes the SACO shot not connecting onto this Morph Ranger right now, and here comes the stun from the Red King once again getting control of immediately going back into the Morphling, but the control coming up from Recreational Hazard. The triple kill is beyond godlike on the side of the Visage right now, and you can see all the tips coming out from their team, and that's a lot of tips going the way of the Morphling. So that's some goal that he'll never get in game for the moment.
That control on the Shaker was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I think the chain stuns were perfect, and even just finishing up with the toss as well, not being able to get anything off.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show how well coordinated the side of Recreational Hazards are.
Yeah, and like doing this without the Radiance on Red King, which is so big because, you know, usually you think you need to have a timing on Red King, you can't really do too much with him, but he's just this walking stun right now. That's all he's really providing to the team, but that's more than enough for these birds from Visage to come and, you know, rain down hell upon Portal Esports, but they're still on a timer. Visage is very, very, very strong right now, so this is like the best bet to start pushing T2s and pushing high ground as well, getting Roshan, etc., etc. But if they miss this timing, it's pretty hard for them to come back from this.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Visage is just playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
But then I think, for me, I think this game, it was all set up by the Tiny.
Yeah,
really
for sure.
good job
Tiny is playing so well this game. I think right now they are pretty much dominating on Recreational Hazard right now. Portal Esports seem like they're lacking a lot, to be honest. Like they've been making quite a few mistakes all around the map, and they're getting caught out to these tiny ganks all the time, like not paying attention to where the tiny is and then getting picked off. It's always a big deal.
Once again, so we see the Atos onto the Visage once again. Are they going to try and go nice
Viper.
shackle shot as just as the creeper spawn, and looks like Visage should be able to run to safety. Just trying to micro his birds a little bit, and looks like he'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, looks like Tiny is actually going into this top lane. Might try
They wanna
to
kill
make
the
a
Morph.
play on the
Yeah.
Morphling right now. The Wind Ranger is coming in as well. So Morphling needs to be a little bit careful. Do they know where he is? Currently sitting
on
at
high
basic-
HP,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's on high HP right now, so he can't actually get bursted down. So they're going to probably wait for the Wind Ranger to set up the shackle shot, and there we go. And once again, here comes the Maelstrom with this, and here comes the Blinking from the Tiny. Nice stun toss avalanche combo with the power shot. Perfect! Absolutely perfect from the side of Recreational Hazards.
Yeah, just killing that Morphling is such a big deal right now because that's the only thing they can rely on because this Viper he like died like 3 times in a row and he's useless now. Like unless he gets items, he's like so useless. He had to realize that after he gets Atos, he kind of needs to farm still. He's strong in a team fight, but if he goes alone and keeps dying all the time around the map, you're losing so much of your advantage for that hero because that hero is kind of a snowball hero as well. Like you don't want to be behind playing Viper. It's very difficult to play because you can't farm many things. Like yes, you can farm creepers, but your like strength is going to the jungle, farming, then getting a kill with your supports, and then going back to the jungle and farming a little bit because of that nether toxin. But right now he's just dying whenever he tries to get a kill, and now he can't even farm the jungle because it's all controlled up, so he's not getting the farm that he needs.
Yeah,
right
now they're going to Roshan as well, so that's going to even further out their power spike right now. And the last time we checked, the Red King was at 4,400 gold, so he's actually quite close to the Radiance as well. And it's going to be very, very soon. It's going to be go time for the side of Recreational Hazard. So
They might contest this.
So 15k gold lead right now. They need to be careful if they want to contest. And the Skylight, the Winter Wyvern actually getting caught out, immediately silence. And here comes they go onto the Tiny.
No,
the Apex is
Viper.
there, but nice shackle there from the Windrunner, and Viper actually goes down. The Visage is not afraid. Look at him moving forward. He's not even afraid at all. The Blinking from the Tiny, the Avalanche is there, but it's actually the Morphling that's using the Tiny right now, and they're actually immediately going to turn their sight onto the Earthshaker, not going to be able to get away. Does use that Echo Slam, but doesn't really connect or do anything in this game. And this Visage barely got tickled in that whole fight.
He echo slammed the ground before he blinked in there because of Ignite in that fight. That was
quite unfortunate for the Shaker right there, but immediately going high ground, and this is the timing that Recreation Hazard were bringing into the table. Once again, Shackle comes out, does not connect. Once again, they do get it, manage to get the double multicast, and Blinking toss with the first staff onto the Morphling, but he's going to be able to get to safety, going to try and 3-toss their way into trying gaining the kill, but once again, Ogre just a little bit out of position. Beyond godlike, there's nothing they can do. This Visage is just too strong. Even the Visage, the Skyrath might just die to birds at this point.
Yeah, Skyrath is Such a useless pick this game, honestly. Like, I really don't know why they picked it up as a first pick.
And now Visage confidently moving to the bot lane, level 19 at 22 minutes in. And like I said, once again, Atos coming out onto the Skyrath match, getting chased down by the birds. And finally, the Visage might actually go down. And it's actually just, oh, what a beautiful Winter's Curse. This time onto the Viper is getting beaten up. And a 4-man stun toss avalanche combination. And the throw, the 3-throw. And the Earthshaker just managed to get away by the double kill onto the Wind Ranger. Even the Earthshaker actually going down. Morphling trying his best to head back into the base. Can they actually manage to catch him? No, they cannot. The Shackle shot is there, but it's not going to be enough. But what a combination play. 4-man stun with the birds into the avalanche toss combo into 4 people. Excuse me?
Yeah, that was a really good play. And Tiny.
Oh, meanwhile, jumping on the Morphe. Oh my god. And even the Skyrath gets caught on the hi-fi is there and unstoppable for the Wind Ranger right now. And the buyback is there as well from the Skyrath mage. And I think this is it for Portal Esports. And we might see Recreational Hazards moving on to face Global Esports in the grand finals right now.
Yeah, I mean, that Visage pick. I mean, this Viper, I think the Viper kind of messed up the game for them a little bit, and the GG is called here.
So, what a game. I think congratulations to Recreational Hazard. That was some top tier Dota right there. I mean, my MVP for this game is 100% the Tiny, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, congratulations to our winner of the Global finals here. Recreational Hazards moving on to play against Global Esports. So, with that guys, we're going to head into a very short break, and once we do get back, we'll be having the post-match analysis. Recreational Hazards actually managed to take the game, and I think that third game was just complete outdraft in terms of how they played. The Skyrath didn't really do anything at all, even during the laning sets. Sure, the Morphling had a really good time, and the Wraith King didn't, but that Visage, I think, let's just talk about the rotations coming in from the Tiny. Level 1, who expects you to just come and just toss you into the tower? And it was just an amazing play. I mean, that just kind of set up the Visage. He got that basey, he got the region that he wanted. And, you know, like, sure, the Viper gets farmed, but the Visage is just so strong at that point.
I mean, it's not only that. It's the fact that Viper kept dying in the early game for no reason. I mean, not for no reason, but he can be dying in those fights because that hero is like that. You want to, when you're fighting Visage, you cannot just solo him. Because he has Medallion, and you're not strong against Medallion. You're really bad against minus armor, but your kit is really good against Visage in the sense that you slow him. He's always going to stay in your Nether Toxin. He's broken. He dies if you have help. But unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. He kept dying to the Visage, and he lost his lead. And the Morphling, even though he needs to he got Lincoln's first, right? Which I think he needed in a way because of the Shackle shot. There's so many target stuns, and even the Winter's Curse to set up with the Tiny Toss combo is always good. So he needed the Lincolns somewhat, and he tried to go into the Scepter, couldn't do it, needed more time. Viper didn't. He's 1 and 8. You see, you cannot have a mid laner that dies more than your supports. Like, even the Skyrath died less than him.
Like, Skyrath even
your positioning has to be a lot better. Like, as soon as you start losing in terms of items against a Visage, you just, like, he's 13-0. He went completely crazy in this game, and I think Visage and Tiny deserve this MVP for sure. Like, Tiny set up the early game for them, and Visage completed the game for them. Wraith King was a walking stun, unfortunately, couldn't do much this game. But even the Wind Ranger and the Tiny having this coordination, this Wyvern ults being really good, I think overall, Recreational Hazard just played much better Dota.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and there's just a few things like, we saw the Viper getting a little bit greedy, trying to kill those birds off, and then a beautiful, setup for the kills, for the Visage, and, this rotation coming in from the Tiny. I think, just that first 4 minutes of the time, if you just watch him, we saw the initial gank onto the mid lane, Viper goes down, immediately he goes to the top lane, they get 2 more kills, and then again, he just stays there for a little bit, he goes to the bot lane, he secures another kill for the Wind Ranger. Sure, the Wind Ranger dies again, but immediately he picks up Invis rune, he comes bot again, he gets another kill for the Wind Ranger, he picks up an Arcane rune, he goes mid lane, he gets the kill onto the Viper. He was just everywhere, and at level 4 when he died, he gave away 403 gold. So that's to an ogre, but even then That's just how much work he was doing. He was doing a really good job. I really enjoyed watching this Tiny and how he played. You can see 6'2" and 17. And I believe it was a position position 4. But even then, he played really well. I think he played the Tiny to perfection in my book. And then just enabling the Wind Ranger, enabling the Visage, and then those two heroes alongside the Winter Wyvern, who had some beautiful curses in this game, and the plays made by the Tiny. The Wraith King just could AFK farm the whole game.
Yeah.
And from there they just got the Aegis, and I really like the build coming out from the Visage as well.
Yeah.
Going into that.
I think that Vlad's was such a good pickup. Like just having the Vlad's to give you the armor and the damage and the lifesteal is just such a good item. Even against like this heroes like Viper and stuff, where you can just man fight them at some point. Like it's just really good. You don't die easily. You're so tanky. You have the helm on top of it. You got pipe too. Just everything itemized really well. And like honestly, in the drafting phase, it felt a little bit like they were relying on, just the lanes to win on Portal Esports. Like they didn't really plan for how to deal with them early game. They just wanted to win the early game somehow. That's why they picked a strong mid laner. Viper is really strong. Anyway, he wins the mid lane. The Skywrath with the Morphling and the Ogre, it's not bad to try lane, but the other Trident is just better.
Yeah, the other Trident was just better.
Yeah.
The Tiny knowing exactly when to be there.
Yeah, and Wyvern is just such a good hero against Skywrath, slowing them from far away, and then Tiny can toss him. There's just so much things they can do with these heroes on the side of Recreational Hazard in the tri-lane that Portal Esports cannot do, because Morphing is really weak in lane.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's just the whole reason, and that's an unfortunate game coming from the Portal Esports. I think they got a little bit, phased in the drafting phase. I mean,
I think they just got caught up in Recreational Hazard space.
Yeah, they just couldn't match the pace, and I don't know why they picked this Skywrath, to be completely honest, but that felt like a complete outdraft. Not complete outdraft, but more like they just got outplayed in the lanes so hard by this Tiny that it was hard for them to come back.
So with that, guys, once again, congratulations to our winners, Recreational Hazard. They'll be going to face Global Esports in the grand finals tomorrow. It will be a best of 5 series. So it's going to be a very interesting, intense game to see for sure. So you can see right now, it's going to be the grand final. So we're going to be able to see who will be taking home the grand prize of $1,500 as well as, having the MVP award for the Intel NUC as well as the HyperX awards. So many awards to be given as well. So you can see the tournament MVP award. We have the beautiful Intel NUC, also known as the Hades Canyon, with that, beautiful Radeon RX graphics card as well as Intel Core i7, 16 GBs of RAM, has the Windows 10, 1 TB SSD as well. And with that, we have the HyperX award. So it'll be going to the Gamer's Choice winner, which you guys are currently voting for online. And with that, make sure to go ahead and vote for your favorite player, the best support player, best carry player, the Unkillable award, as well as the tournament MVP. So there's so much action still to be had. Tomorrow's best of 5, I think, could go anywhere.
Yeah, My Revenge took a game off Global Esports as well, so it's not like they're unkillable. They're not immortal. Right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
They're still prone to get cheesed, and it feels like Recreational Hazard is the master of cheese.
Yeah, right now, they're just playing at such a great pace.
Yeah, they have these Meepo picks, these Visage picks. They probably have a Brood pick as well. So I think Global Esports really need to do their homework before they come and really get their drafting right, so that if they do have trouble in the game, they can rely on their draft a little bit.
Yeah, that's for sure. So with that, guys, so that is going to be it from me, Dakro, as well as Abdul Nightblade here. So we're just going to be heading off, and we'll catch you tomorrow at 8 o'clock once again for the grand finals. Thank you so much. Good night.